I suck.
No.
I'm sorry.
No. This is not
I,
John's
I, I
fault.
got, well, it kind of is. A little bit. I got stuck in a meeting at work about my apprenticeship, which went on for 3.5 hours instead of an hour and a half. But I'm like over halfway now and on schedule to finish by Christmas. So that's exciting. So it's fine.
But also, if
but
you
I
didn't
just,
know it was going to be a meeting for that long, that is not your fault.
no, I did not expect that meeting to go on for 3.5. Normally it's 2 maximum. So that was fun. But it's fine. I just ended up running around a bit like a manic bugger because I planned to do something else after work. But it's fine. We're here. We got our internet updated today. So I'm really hoping that it is actually like updated and live and there's no blips. But it's not going to be different in any other room. So I'm just still sitting here and being comfy. And if I black out for like seconds, you'll know I'm coming back. Hopefully it won't happen. Hopefully this has fixed all of the issues that we've had. How? What?
I found out I could do this the other day, and I can't help it. Apparently, it's like an iOS thing because I've got a Mac.
That's not fair. I literally was like, I was so convinced that you just like my internet had fucked up and something had happened, and then it started doing fireworks. I was like, no, this is a good. Oh, this is cool. I like this. Sorry, my brain is all over the place, guys. I apologize if you did not expect random chaos from us two. Where were you last month? And welcome to month 2 of like 15.
I finished this book 10 minutes before we were due to go live.
I did finish mine way sooner this time. I learned.
I found out that I can do so many different things, and I'm just really happy, and I'm going to be a fucking menace. I do apologize. I don't mean it.
I love that because you're closer and we're like, I've moved the cameras and we're like full screen. This is even better than if it was just the little screen. I'm so happy I did this. Let's say hi to people. At least I was here really early.
Yeah.
I yeah. Yeah, this was me like, it's fine. We're here. Hi. Hi. 2 months time. So October, Assassin, Blade. Aerofight after that? Am I right? Did I get that order right?
Yeah. Yes. It is my favorite. I am excited.
I love Emma. Not soon enough.
She ain't wrong, to be fair.
Hello, my love. Hi, Rachel. Oh.
No. There we are.
There you go. You need to be able to see your thumbs.
Yeah.
But
if I do freestyle, I get balloons. There's a way to do confetti, and I can't remember, but I do know if I do this, it goes into like a laser.
Oh my god!
Do this, it starts raining.
Oh my god! I actually love it.
I'm a menace, and I love it.
So binge-worthy wise, I can't say I binged it because I didn't start and finish it in the same day. But I read the first 5 chapters in one day before I went to bed, which is 44 pages, and then I read the rest the next day.
I read this today.
I'm really glad you can listen to audiobooks as fast as you did, because otherwise you'd have been screwed.
Oh yeah. If
you wouldn't have been screwed, you just would have like not finished.
Yeah, I planned to finish it yesterday, and then I had like no spoons. And so I read like an hour, and I was like, this isn't happening. So I took it to work, listened to 15 minutes on my break, and then I finished the rest of it this evening. I do also have like lots of pages of notes. I have like almost, well, I've got over
Yeah, as
3
Lisa and Jem will tell you. Oh, that's better. Sorry, I've had my hair back all day for work. And I love the fact that sitting down here, because Richie's upstairs, I don't need to wear my headset.
Yeah.
Like, it's so nice. I don't have to like push my hair back and look weird. It's great. Love it.
Yeah.
And also sofa. Like, comfy. I love this. Yeah, I wasn't either. Smash got my message, which was really funny because I'd forgotten you were with Becca. So I messaged you, then I messaged Becca, then you replied saying you were with Becca, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. No, I totally messaged her before I remembered. And then I messaged Lisa, and Lisa wasn't finished yet, but I was like, well, I can't say anything, but yeah, I'm not okay.
Lisa sent me messages like not long ago, and I was like, I think she's finished this book. So should we go into ratings?
5.
5?
5.
5.
It would have been a 5 even if I hadn't been right about the 2 things I messaged you, literal pictures of the book going, I was fucking right. Like, honestly, I had so many feelings about this book. I just didn't want to stop reading. And I was really glad I didn't have anything else planned. Because if I had to stop reading, it was definitely one of that moments where I would have been like, how many people will I piss off if I don't go to do the plans I have planned?
Yeah. I will say when first off, shall we just say this straight away? Once more, no spoilers for the rest of the series because we have people who have not read the series, and that's not fair on them. So obviously,
me and Lisa and actually Rachel, have you read it before? Because I can't see any of this series getting less. I can't tell from that if you've read it or not. I can't remember.
But here's the thing, no spoiling anything in any of the books that we have not spoken about yet. We can talk about this one and we can talk about Throne of Glass. But apart from that, if you spoil, I will curse your entire family.
Oh.
But
and Lisa. And Lisa, because Lisa hasn't read it either. 5 stars for Emma, 5 stars for Rachel. Yeah, I was giving Emma thoughts while I was going through it. Not quite as many as you got, because you were like the only person I was even thinking about stopping for. My brain was just on like read.
What was really funny about that was I messaged like Becca wasn't in the room and she came into the room and I was like, so Tori's got to the bit and she was like, I know she's messaged me, and then I showed her all of the messages. She's like, oh, she's not messaged me that much. I was like, she's
no. I literally was the only person. I literally my WhatsApp, the only thing that I was looking at was our chat for this series. And I was like, and it wasn't even like I was giving you proper comments. It was I was going, oh, this bit, picture. Like I wasn't even taking the time out to properly comment. I just was.
I need to find some of the comments that we had.
I love
one is just fuck I right veg mug doc kid you. I wish I was joking. That is literally what it says.
It's literally me like literally going letters. I don't care what I'm hitting.
I was right. Fuck me.
Yep.
It's been great because I've had messages from you. I've had a few messages from Lisa, not loads, but a few. And then when Emma binged it, she was just voice noting me with things, and I was like, I haven't picked the book up yet. I can't remember any of this because I
just kept getting messages back from Emma when I did message saying same or I remember or yep. Like there was no actual words, no description, nothing. Just
yeah. What's really interesting for me with this one is this, like, I love this book. This book is great. It is also the book that I skip anytime I'm doing a reread because it hurts. This book hurts. And Airfire is my comfort read. So this book I've not read nearly as much as some of the other ones.
This hurt me. I want medical compensation.
You probably need it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Or like therapy, maybe.
The first time I read this book, it was my I can stand and like I can stay up till stupid o'clock in the morning and read it. So I was up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning when the bit happened. I mean, I know we can spoil shit for this, but I'm just we'll get to that a bit later.
We don't need to say it yet, Span.
Yeah.
We don't need to say it yet.
And I cried so hard that I gave myself a headache and had to go to sleep at like 2 o'clock in the morning because I was so sad. I love this, but yeah, we
need
probably...
to be protected.
I have also done considerably a lot of tabs, not as many as this time, but that's because I was rushing to read it. Yeah,
I don't tab. I tried for Schwab-along and failed, so now I just don't because it stresses me out and it distracts me from actually reading the book.
I'm only doing it because there's so much in these books that I want to kind of, especially having read them so much. It's like I really wanted to kind of see all of the bits that are in it and be able to see exactly what it means.
100%. Do you prefer Kale, which I still stand by the fact I would not have said that right if it wasn't for the audiobooks, or Dorian?
Sorry?
I'm a Kale gal.
I
can see both, don't get me wrong, but I like Kale better currently. But I reserve the right to change my mind over the next 6 books.
Yeah.
I feel like that is an important statement to make at 25% in of a series.
My favourite character has not been introduced yet. Actually, there's a few of them that haven't been introduced yet.
Mine was Nehemia and she's fucking gone.
I thought we weren't saying that yet, honey.
I can't help it. I got too... Oh my god.
But yeah.
Although I agree.
Yeah, 100%
with this. Sorry, I skipped a lot of comments. I'll go back. It's fine.
Going back to the Dorian Kale thing, I love both of them for very, very different reasons. I'm not. I know Becca's a Kale hater, and I totally understand why she does not like Kale. I do, but at the same time, he does some questionable things, and I have written down some of the questionable things that he's done because 3.5 pages of notes, guys. I'm really sorry. This is going to be ridiculous.
It's okay. I'm excited. I may at some point have to order or sort food and eat at the same time, but I'm here forever. It's fine.
I love the fact that Becca's just came in straight away and put, God, I am a Kale hater. Also, hi.
Right, hold on. There's tons of comments. Let me quickly pull these up because the guys are commenting lots today.
I did say to Lisa last time, I was like, please come to the live show. It was very quiet last time because no one wanted to talk and we need people who haven't read the series.
Yeah, 100%. I'm loving this. I do not like Kale. Emma, we're no longer friends. Oh, cute. Can't wait till Air of Fire. I've reread it so many times. Can't tell you why, I just don't. I love Mort. We need to talk about Mort when we come back to him. Mort is ace. See, I do agree that I can change my opinion though, because I 100% did that with Chronicles of Ixia. There's some amazing redemption arcs in there, but also people falling off the wagon. And I love people who twist my heart like that, even if I hate it at the time. Cassie Clare does it 1,000% as well. So
one of the comments I have later on is literally one of the reasons I love Sarah J. Maas's characters so much is that none of her characters are good or evil. And they have so many, they're so flawed that it's fantastic. Nehemia being one of them. Nehemia is such a flawed character and I fucking love her, but she's infuriating.
Yeah.
even from just like book 2, like just like all of the stuff that we've got from her, like she's infuriating, and it's
Yeah.
we'll go into it a bit later on, but like I think that's one of the really really good things about Sarah J. Maas's characters are you all of them are flawed. All of them are flawed.
All of them. You couldn't not have. I could pick someone that wasn't. It's grand. Love it.
It's fantastic.
Find having so much easier with a reread. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it probably would be. I've just also not figured out a way to do it yet, and I don't know if I will. But it's fine. I love people that love doing it. It just so far isn't a thing for me.
This is literally like the first time I've properly done it, apart from when I was at uni. And I'm really enjoying it because I'm like I'm realizing just how much I'm absorbing the story more.
Yes.
So that's what's really really fun for me with this, because there is a lot that I hadn't realized in. Obviously, again, this is a book that I don't reread very often, but it's one of the things that like yeah.
Lisa, I don't believe you. You're literally going to be sleeping in a room with me in 3 weeks. I do not believe you. I am Kale here. Hi. Hi, my love. I wish this worked for me, but it doesn't. But you can still have one.
1 second. There's another one that does confetti, and I can't remember how to do it. Is it 2 peace signs? It is.
Ah, nice. This readathon is doing wonders for me. The series I was too scared to probably reread because I was scared I wouldn't love it as much. Yeah, I feel that.
It's my favorite. Like it's my comfort reads, which is really 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 sad. Because like why are these my comfort reads? Why do I love these books so much? But I do, and yeah.
I mean,
apparently,
all I'm going to say is Poison Study. How much shit happens to Yelena? Like, she goes through shit, and that is one of my favorites. So
yeah.
I'm saying nothing. I apparently love really grey, morally like fucked characters with some form of military aspect, with far too many people to keep track of.
Yeah.
In a huge world that has a map.
Anyway,
and if there's a map, it's even better. I will probably like it without it, but a map just makes everything right. Excuse me, Selena's not flawed. She can do no wrong, and even her wrongs are right.
No, don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore the woman, but bitch has issues.
Everyone in this book has issues.
Yeah.
This is accurate. I don't care how much of a bitch she can be. She's an icon. I agree with that.
100%. 100%.
He made mistakes.
We'll go into the questionable shit he did.
Hell cares. It's before you even read this series. You could have killed yourself. Guys,
I'm literally saying that I love her characters because they have flaws.
Right.
I'm not arguing with you with this one.
Move on from comments and start with whatever your first question is, now that we know that everybody has issues and that we love and hate Kale, depending who we are.
Right. Okay. This is mostly just like thoughts I had whilst reading the book. I've got page numbers on some of them. I don't with some others. There is one that is just where is it? Oh, Roland is the epitome of ick. So like, who knows what these are going to be like?
But I agree with that statement on every single part of him. In fact, I'm pretty sure. Where's my phone? I messaged you at one point, literally being like, "I hate him." Is it an actual statement though, or was it just a voice note? This will make.
I think it was a statement.
I should have literally just searched for the word Roland. That would have been easier.
Well, maybe it wasn't.
Dorian's cousin is a sleazy ass.
That's why I couldn't see it. Yeah. Anyway.
That was my whole statement.
Yep. And I hadn't been reintroduced to Roland, and I'd completely forgotten who he was, and I was like, and then as soon as I read it, I was like, oh no, I get it. I get it.
Yep. That was my whole defining statement.
Yeah.
Sleazy ass apparently is my
So my first one was on page 10. Dorian knows that Selena is an assassin, and yet is surprised at how brutal the murders are. This is interesting, but it really shows how much she let her guard down around them. And I thought that was really cool because like she's all swagger and shit, and I'm like, what did he just forget that she's like the best assassin in Arnlin? Like,
Yep.
how the fuck does he think she got that name? Like, what?
Like, I know that before she got caught in that, she didn't really let anybody know who she was.
Yeah.
So I think part of it could be just a case of he's struggling to put the image of who he liked with the title that he hasn't actually seen in play. Yeah. And I thought that was so cool because even though he knows it's her, and even though she's won the competition and she now has to do these things, even 2 months in, he's still like, yeah, but she was really nice in her dress. And like, she couldn't really, oh, fuck, she can hurt people. Oh, right. Like, he's just like, he needs protected. Like, he's so ridiculously, I can't decide if he's naive or not.
Oh,
part of me really thinks he is like really, really sheltered. I
think that he is in some ways and he isn't in others, and I think that's really, really interesting because we know that he's a bit of he's a playboy.
Yeah,
let's be real, he's a bit of a fuckboy. If we're going to be perfectly honest, he's a bit of a fuckboy, and he fucked around and found out, and now he's kind of like starting to grow up a bit. But I think he's very much had all of the same. That
is actually an amazing statement.
He's had all of the he's had all of these women. He's been able to like do whatever he wants, but all of the women that he's been messing with, either he's had a massive advantage over power wise, in the sense of he is the crown, he's the crown prince, he is the heir to the throne,
next in line, like
so either like people want to use him for his title, or they want to like there is no way that he hasn't got power over a lot of the women he's been with. Whether or not he's wanted to do it, I'm not saying that he's done it in an aggressive way or anything like that. I'm just saying that,
like,
it's one of those
no one above him other than his dad, like, who's an ass.
So yeah, and it's one of those things of I think that like because of that he has grown up in a world where he's very, very certain of all of his power. Whether or not he uses it for good or bad is another matter, because I do think that Dorian, though he does have flaws, is a good person, especially in like these books. He's known the game, he's played the game, and he's played the game well.
Yeah,
he's wanted to get out of the game, and then suddenly he meets Selena, and it's like, oh, this is something. And like Selena doesn't pull any punches with shit. Like she gives as good as she gets, and
she wouldn't treat him any differently because he's a prince versus anyone else, which he isn't used to.
Yeah. And I really love that about it. And I love that he genuinely, and I think especially because Selena wears her like her sassiness as an armor almost. He's seen one side of her, and then when he sees like the other side of her, it's like, oh fuck. Like, and I love that.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. I also think it's really, really interesting that how close Kale and Selena became. The fact that he was automatically like, I was so worried I was going to ride out to find out where you were, and it's like, dude, it's not that deep. Like,
been 2 months, man.
Calm your tits. But yeah,
in prison so far in life, and he takes
yeah, and I think it's with everything though. If you're used to something so like for so long, like you take it for granted, you don't think anything about it. And I think especially when you've got that much like going for you, like it doesn't surprise me that he was a bit confused.
No,
I love Dorian. I think Dorian's a great character.
Is the trio Selena, Kale, and Dorian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, because the boys are the same. You can tell that they actually genuinely care for each other, whether or not they should, or whether or not it's seen as like proper for the crown prince or whatever to, have that type of relationship with the head of the guard or whatever. But you can tell they do. I'm also really wishing I'd moved my camera. I feel like I'm very off center, but I don't care enough to move. Just a heads up.
I think it's one of the interesting things, especially because it gets brought up later on with Kale's dad. Like Kale's dad turns around and says, "You've made such a close friendship with Dorian. That's going to be really good when he ascends the throne." And Kale's like, "The fuck? Why? Well, like, no, that's not why I did it." Like,
I just like the person and like to tell him he's being an idiot occasionally.
I think it's interesting because we've talked about like how naive Dorian is, but actually I think that Kale's quite naive as well.
Especially
like in a very
from being at home to being in the palace. Like he doesn't really
in a very different way of like I think Kale expected that when he went from like being the son of a lord to being the head of the guard, or like however that process went to, I feel like Kale just assumed that like everything would be okay, and it very clearly isn't. And I think even to the extent of like how much faith he puts into the royal family and how much faith he puts into what he thinks is right is very naive. Like he's great
and you do no wrong.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because like it very much feels as if up until Selena appeared, the two of them were just kind of standing back and being like, yeah, this is just how the world works. Like the king's
coasting along.
The king's not great, but like that's how the world works. And you just sit there and you go, the dude's got like fucking millions of slaves, and like that, like he's conquering every world, and he's just a bit, like, what the fuck? And like they go along with it, and I think that is really naive, and I think that's really like not good in a way. And I understand like that there are things of like you've got to kind of go along with what you need to do, and like things that happen to keep yourself safe and the people you love safe. I appreciate that like there's so many things that you can't do in those situations, and obviously Dorian being the son of the king, there's even less he can do in some aspects. But I do think
there's
that
more he can do in others. Like
but I do find them both incredibly naive for very different reasons.
Yeah. So we have, and I hate Kale's dad from Lisa.
Which, yeah, we'll get into him in a bit.
And Kale is still in a way pampered and used to certain life, and I think some ways because of that he forgets Selena's had it so much worse.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of the book for Kale to be like, you know what, I get it, understand why you are who you are. Yeah, I think as much as Kale and Dorian had a very different start to life, they've both been safe.
Yeah,
and they both haven't ended up in a fucking slave camp. You know, who else can really compare to that other than somebody who's done that? Like,
and it's not even just that. It's the fact of like they talk. I mean, even in book one, they talked about Selena's like mentor and what he did to like what he did to like ensure that Selena was the best.
Yep.
And Kale is horrified by it because how she was mentored and how he was mentored. He was mentored in a very loving way. It was always like, we want the best from him. We want to nurture him. Whereas she was like, you are going to be the best, and to do this, we are going to do it in the worst possible way. And I think it's really interesting because like none of the boys know just what she's been through.
I want to hug her.
She needs all of the hugs. She needs all of the hugs. I also put that I love that Selena gave them a choice I love the fact we see a little hint of rebellion in Selena from the beginning of this book. The fact that, like, how did you feel when it was revealed? Because in the at the start of it, you do kind of feel like, oh shit, she's actually like going a bit off the deep end, and then it's revealed that, oh, actually she's not. She's just faking it. How did you feel when you read that?
I didn't think she was killing them in the first place.
Right. Okay.
Because she hated the fact that she was going into this in the first one. Like when we left, she was like, right, I need to get through this. I need to survive. But she's been a slave. She's come from a kingdom that has been at, like, I know that she can't physically like stand up because obviously Nehemia and Kale and families all got, like, she had certain ways that she had to kind of get around. But I genuinely was like, I can't see her killing innocent people, because eventually that list is going to bring her to somebody she knows, or somebody that is like a friend of Nehemia, or somebody that is a friend of somebody. Like, as much as I can understand her having to do what she's told, I just couldn't figure out how, with the conscience and how she was trying and so dead against everything the king stood for. I was really hoping she'd manage to find a way out of it. Had no idea how the fuck she was going to manage it. I will point that part out. But I was adamantly hoping that it wouldn't be what it looked like it was, if that makes sense. So as soon as we found out that she had kind of told the right thing, but had kind of faked it, and obviously it was somebody else, and yes, that body was at the bottom of the sea or whatever, but they were away and, you know, free. I was like, okay, that's a bit better, but I really hope none of them get back to the king. I hope nobody fucks up. And then it kind of got fucked up later, but not with this lot. This one's were okay. And the fact that she had such a long travel back to help with the decomposing was really clever. Like, I know obviously that the king had picked the targets and it wasn't her that picked them, so she couldn't say, oh, I need a week to travel back from, you know, somewhere that's a day away. But I was very glad that she managed to get older corpses and then like almost like help them on their way a bit.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds, like I was very glad for her to be able to throw them in the river and get rid of them.
Yeah.
But very happy that it wasn't actually the people it was supposed to be, when I don't think they've probably actually done anything wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
think
mean, they'll be doing an uprising of some equivalent. Let's face it. They'll be trying to go against the king in some way.
But again, the king probably deserves it.
Yeah.
Because he's not a nice guy.
No.
My next comment was, Roland is the epitome of ick. So why do you not like Roland? Let's talk about Roland.
I hate Roland. Does that count?
I mean, it does. I just like I don't know what it is about Roland that I don't like, but it's something.
I feel like he would be the type of guy that would stand in front of you and look at you in such a way you would know he was undressing you with his eyes.
Yeah.
And like not look at you in the eyes, like he'd stare at your boobs, or like slap you in the ass as you walk past, or like grope you without asking. Like, I feel like he's that kind of guy that is, again, so high up in his usual area and surroundings that he's got that power, but I feel like he used it. I just seen Becca's comment. I feel like he used his power in a bad way, where Dorian probably got sex because he was a nice guy and didn't abuse it, where I feel like Roland would have abused his power to get people to sleep with him.
I also think it's very, very telling, because like at least at the beginning we understand Kale's moral compass. I like, as much as I know that people love Kale, we can question some of his intentions, because there were certain things that he did that I still very much don't agree with. But at the start of this book, we understand his moral code is pretty high. So the fact he turns around and goes, I don't like him, it's like, if someone that you know and trust doesn't like someone, there's probably a good reason for it.
Especially if they're they seem to be an upholding, law-abiding citizen who's in charge of like all of this. Like, there has to be something that happened somewhere along the lines. And let's face it, being cousins or family with somebody else that you like doesn't mean they're going to be a good guy.
Yeah, 100%. You don't need it. You don't need to like family to love them.
No, I don't know. He just gives me the ick.
Yep.
I mean, I said that in my message, but it's like, I just feel like he would be the guy that would stand like super close and you take a step back and he'd take a step back and he'd find it funny.
Yeah.
To, like, get you into that corner. Like, I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark corridor in a castle unless I could like hit him.
What do you think about the fact that later on in the book, he started to back Dorian quite aggressively? Like, and in a good way. It was like everything that Dorian was saying, Roland was going, yeah, no, I'm backing Dorian on this. Like, what did you think?
I really hope he's gonna like be a good guy when females aren't involved, but like, I would love to say that I trust the fact he's not doing it to twist something, but I don't trust him enough.
Yeah.
To do that?
Yeah. Sorry. No, it's fine. I was about to do the same thing.
Like, it's super suspicious. Like, I get the whole somebody saying, I want to do this for a really good reason. I need your support. And him being supportive. But the fact that he's so much of a slimeball before it, and he has the same black ring as his dad, and the asshole who hurt Cultain, whose name is
Harrington.
I was going to say Harrington, and I was like, that's not right. Like, the fact that they've got a ring, I'm like, I don't trust you. I was like, are you being an asshole to Dorian, but you look like you're supporting him? Are you trying to get him to like do something else that he's not thought of yet for his dad? I don't trust him. I don't trust him further than I could throw it.
Yeah, there is something about that it's like, this isn't ringing true.
Yeah, I don't know what the outcome is yet, and I don't know why he's doing it, but I don't trust it. I'm sorry, Becca. I'm sorry. To be fair, I thought of Kit Harington and I was like, no, fuck, that's not what I meant. And then I was like, yeah, I'm out now. That's where my brain's gone and I can't think of anything past it. So, was there anything to like about Roland? Apparently,
probably
he's
not
decent in bed, but I don't think that comes with a good personality.
Here's the thing. I asked this question not because I think that there's something good about this dude, because there's not. But mainly because like we have a conversation, and the best way to turn around and say something is like, what do you think about this person? And that is a way to start a conversation.
How do we feel about Cultain?
Or is
it coming up in your notes?
It will be coming up on my notes, but at the same time, not as much as I would like to. I love Cultain. I think Cultain's such an interesting character.
I like Cultain. She has been fucking screwed over.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. We knew at the end of the last book, she kind of fucked up. She fell in, I'm going to say Harrington this time instead of Harrington. Like, she got pulled in. She very, very, very highly got manipulated. Selena giving her cloak, I really appreciated. Way back, further forward. And then when they both ended up in jail, because obviously that was a thing, the conversation that they had there while she was piecing together the word marks and like figuring stuff out, and what they were both kind of almost like batting ideas off each other and like finding out tidbits. It was great. And then I was like, oh, you fucker. And I just had this idea of what they were doing for word mark power. And it's still not, I don't think it's being like fully said, but I will have an idea for you of what I think is incoming, or at least more of a, oh, don't put that down the back of the sofa.
Don't lose it. Do you want to reveal it? Do you want to tell us what you have about?
Well, I don't know. I can't remember if it was fully revealed in here or not. My brain has gone blank. But I remember thinking when they were talking in the jail, about how they were getting the power in some way, this, that, and the next.
Yeah.
And then obviously when she went through the portal later and the huge reveal happened with magic, I won't say more than that until we get there, but like when that happened, I just have this feeling that because the magic has been stopped in their world,
Mm-hmm.
the king is getting all of the power from the people that he's cut it off from.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. That's a really interesting thought.
So like when Nehemia touched Dorian and like Selena going through the portal, the two of them getting their power back will weaken the king. I just had this really cool thought, but I don't know if that will work. And obviously we have 6 more books to go, so you probably can't say fuck all about it. But like
the only thing I will say about this is obviously Selena's power going to the end of the book now. Selena's power at the end, she only had it when she was in that portal.
Yeah.
When she came back out,
I know.
she
But
didn't
Dorian
have it.
still has his. But
He
also
does.
Nehemia got it back and Nehemia's so that probably won't work either. But it was quite cool. I had that thought while I was reading it, and then I was like, this probably doesn't work unless they can like smash whatever is like siphoning the power.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know. It was where my brain went.
No,
Possibly too much poison study Chronicles of Ixia, because that is also a thing. But not quite, but kind of.
No.
But yeah, that was where my brain went, and I don't know. I've clicked that one already. Talk with Lena was eye-opening. Yeah, it was really good. She was so fucking to go back to Caltaine, she was just hard done by it. And the fact that she is now away from the castle with Parrington and Dorian makes me really suspicious. Not Dorian.
Roland.
Yeah, I was about to say asshole. The fact that they're away together, even though he was supporting Dorian, but he's now away with them, just makes me so not trust him.
Okay, but also I wanted to bring this up. What do you think of the fact that Caltaine's been having headaches, she's hearing wings, and then Roland started to have headaches as well?
And so did Nehemia?
No, it was Caltaine in the first one.
I thought there was 2 people that said they were having, because she had 2 different conversations, or was it Roland that was the second?
Roland was the second one.
I think it means that they both have power and that Paddington is stealing their power from them.
Okay.
Or at least it's something linked to people with power that are being, I don't know. I'm adamant it's something to do with Caltaine having power that she doesn't know she has.
Yes.
Nehemia said she was dreaming of things. I knew there was something about Nehemia. I love Becca being like,
yeah,
not answering, not saying anything. But yeah, I have a feeling that it's something to do with magic, whether it's something like something trying to escape a portal or a different portal calling them. Maybe they're from a different realm originally, and this is where they've ended up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something to do with their magic. I don't know, but I am absolutely adamant that there is something to do with magic, and it's not like a weird thing in the dungeons, because they were all at different parts of the castle.
No, makes sense.
Also, Lisa, you need to answer these questions too, man. You have also read these books.
My next comment is for page 36, and it is the comparison.
We're at 36.
Page 36, and it is the comparison of Kale's books compared to Selena's feels like a personal attack at me, aka her bookshelves holding any book she can get her hands on, and his only being like very easily curated. And I was like, that is a personal attack, and I am triggered.
He had only one small bookcase filled and neatly arranged in alphabetical order if she knew Kale at all, and it probably contained only his most beloved books, unlike Selena's, which housed every title she got her hands on, whether she liked it or not. I feel we don't have seven bookcases in this room.
Personally attacked. My next comment is very, very simple. It is, I fucking love Mort.
Yes. When Mort started talking and he was like, I've deemed you like fit for me to talk to, I was like, Oh my god, I love you. And the voice of the like character in the audiobook is amazing. And
Perfect.
also the fact that at one point he's like, you didn't ask the right question.
Yeah, he's the
It's
sassy
so,
little bitch.
this all along, and you've been such an asshole. I just love it. I love this. We all agree with the personal attack.
Yeah.
Yes,
Also,
I can see that.
calling Selena selfish will always be infuriating to me. Especially rereading it, knowing everything that goes on with like the fight with Nehemia. The fact that she's like, you don't want, you just want, you're out for yourself, you're a coward, all of this. For it to be like more said it to be at the start, for it then to like go into such a big thing at the end. It got me so angry because I'm like, she's allowed to be selfish. She's gone through so much pain. And I knew what pain she was gonna have. And I'm
I
sad.
love Mort though. Like every time, he's almost that little bit of comedic relief
Yeah.
in amongst so much, but also he's like almost this nice edge
Yeah.
of knowing and not knowing information
Yeah.
and being able to get information from the king. And well, she hasn't seen the king. Need to speak about that as well. But like the queen and like Mort seems to be able to connect to them even though they're not here. And
I think it's really nice because in obviously we've had Elena coming through, and Elena is very serious. Like she's
yeah,
very much like, this is the way the world, like we need to sort this out, and she's never not serious about things. And I feel as if that's all well and good, and it makes sense, and I can't go into too much detail about that because I will start talking about books
yeah.
later on.
Do you know who I picture her as? And I don't even know what she looks like. Like I can't remember if there's been a description in the book of Elena. There probably was in the last one, and I just can't remember like hair color and that. But I like think of her as Galadriel from like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like the really long flowy dress, the long hair, never a bone out of place, looks pristine, proper, back
And
straight, like elegantly flowing. Like you know the people that like walk without looking like they're walking.
yeah,
Like I
100%.
picture her as one of those like medieval style queens that
Yeah.
is just so put together. Don't know if she looks exactly like Galadriel, but like
No,
that kind of phase.
that's exactly what I feel like. And I think that's the thing. You've got that, and then I think that's great for the first book when you're trying to sell it as something serious. And I think in this book, because there's so much trauma in this book, I feel like that would have been a bit too much. So I think you needed that buffer of Mort, and I think that was
Yeah.
really, really well done.
Also, I will never not get away from the fact that I love when who was it that was down there and Selena was like, "Oh yeah, you'll meet him if he deigns to speak to you," or
Yeah.
whatever it was, and I was just like,
Dorian, she was saying to Dorian like, if you want to go down there.
I just loved it. I thought it was so funny. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. I just loved that every time she was trying to ask a question or like she was in there and like trying to pick up stuff, he was like, "Don't touch that. You're like desecrating this." And she's like, "You're not. You can't even how." But he still knew. I loved it so much. And then like she'd mention something and he'd be like, "Oh yes, I know this." That and I love it. I love him so much. He's just so good.
It was his sassy when she'd figured out the eye riddle, and he is sassy like, you put the eye against the wall and then you look through it, and she's like, knee shut, Sherlock, like never. Well done. My next comment is Selena giving Caltaine her cloak, even though Caltaine literally tried to kill her, still showing how much of a lot of so much of Selena's character.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that scene. That she had more compassion and kindness than half of the people who say they're better than her.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see just how much love and life Selena has, even though she's gone through so much.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love her so much. There's a conversation about courtesans and assassins and how they are similar, and I find it interesting and also super sad. This was probably this is the introduction to Archer. What did we think of Archer?
I also got sad at the conversation between the courtesans and the assassins, and was very much like, I protect you.
Yeah.
And then I probably wanted to slap Archer.
Yeah, I've my next comment is in this is it's interesting how time and perspective, words are hard, shifts, influence about how you feel. The first time I read this, Archer, I didn't see what happened with Archer coming at all when I first read it. Bearing in mind, I read this when it first came, like close to when it first came out. So like, hang on, when did this come out?
2013.
Yeah, I think I read this like in 2013, 14. Like, so I read this very, very early on. It was probably 2014 now I'm thinking about it. So I read this very, very early on. But also I was like 22. So like I was a lot younger and a lot more naive. So I didn't see a lot of what he was doing and how manipulative he was. Because also fuck no, I hate Archer. Like from the
I don't like him
beginning,
at all.
from the beginning, like the first time I read it, I was like, yeah, he's not great. He could have been worse until like all of the reveals happened. But now, as soon as I found him, my comments are slimy, smarmy, ew. Slimy,
Yeah, I didn't like him, but I didn't trust him. I didn't think he was as bad as he was going to turn out to be.
Yeah.
But because he was one of the guys who like trained her and knew where she'd come from, not that they'd held her there, because I don't think that was necessarily the right thing for what Archer had done, but he definitely didn't help her get out of the assassination thing. And then
I think that it's really, really interesting as well, because I'd completely forgotten just how fucking shit he was at the end. In the fact he was like, Rourke was one of my customers. Like I used to sleep with him all the time. He said that this was the best night of his life and the most fun he had. And I'm like, dude, you've just revealed that you've killed her best friend. Spoilers, guys, if you didn't know already. You've just revealed that you've killed
her. It's okay. It's for the next ones.
Yeah. You've just revealed that you've killed her best friend, and now you're rubbing salt into the wound by saying, "Oh, hi." Also, this person that was in your backstory, I know about that shit as well. And it's like, do you just want to die? Like at that point,
they would have loved to have taken a knife to stab him at that point.
Yeah, and I think it was really, really interesting because he was like partially begging for his life, but he thought so highly of himself. He genuinely thought that he was getting out of that alive. And I genuinely believe that he thinks that he was getting out of that. He thought his manipulation was good enough
to get out
of there alive.
100%.
And I think
also the fact that where do you even start? So the fact that he knew that the king wanted to question Nehemia, not great in the first place from Archer's point of view, especially since Nehemia knew about it. Like, we can't ignore the fact that Nehemia also knew.
Yeah.
Which? Nehemia, Archer, and Kay all knew. Dorian and Selena did not.
And I think this is the thing, because let if we go back to the naivety thing, we've said about how Dorian's naive, we've said about how Kale's naive. I think in some sense as well, Selena's quite naive. Like, yeah. Selena knew that
he's gone through everything that's horrific, that most normal people would not understand her level of normal.
Yeah.
So to her, the normal stuff, she has no idea about, because you don't understand. You don't have siblings. You have people that you're literally set up to fail against, and then people that are dying next to you in a salt mine. Like, you don't have parents. You can't remember much of your childhood. Then you became an assassin. Then you became a slave. Like, the shit that woman has gone through before we even get to this point is terrifying.
And I think it's really interesting because like Nehemia, as much as I love her, like she's it's difficult to say because I love Nehemia and I never want to badmouth Nehemia, but also fuck Nehemia because Nehemia does so much bad shit.
She's spoiled.
And I
she
think
doesn't understand that people can't see her point of view.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's very much like she knows what she has to do and she's not afraid to do whatever it takes to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And doesn't take into account emotions and shit like that, which like not great. But I think it's really, really interesting because like in the last book we talk a lot about how Caltaine was willing to do anything for what she wanted, and that was it. Like we didn't like Caltaine in the first book. We had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
And actually looking at it, Caltaine and Nehemia aren't very, very different in some aspects because Nehemia is, whilst I think the only difference is Caltaine is doing it for personal gain and Nehemia isn't.
She's trying to do it for a kingdom.
And for the greater good.
How does that make that much of a difference? But it seems to, because it's the good of one versus the good of many.
And now I've got a Star Kid song in my head. Anyway, but I think it's one of those things of like the fact that Celaena didn't, going back to the naive thing, the fact that Celaena trusts Nehemia, even though she knows Nehemia lied to her in the first book, she trusts Dorian and Kale, even though she knows just how much shit has happened to her kingdom due to Arden's reign. It's really, really interesting that like Celaena.
I'm terrified now about what they're all going to do to betray her.
Yeah.
It'll happen. There's 6 books. I don't trust anyone to not betray anyone else in an 8-book series.
That's very, very fair. We have some comments. Should we read some? Because we've got quite a few.
Oops. Sorry, guys. I got distracted.
It's fine. We are talking. And this is a long one, guys. If you've got snacks, get snacks.
Yeah, this will be a while. We're on page like 50.
And we're only on page like 1 of my notes.
Yeah. Mort just reminds me of the knockers in the labyrinth. Mort reminds me of Stewie Griffin. I just hear his voice. That's hilarious, Emma. Random question, but how did everyone... Have you got comments about this? Because if so, we'll stick with the Archie stuff for now and we'll come back to this.
I don't think I think it's really, really difficult because one, I had to race through this book to try and finish it. So like my brain wasn't fully visualizing the creature in the tomb.
I don't visualize in my head, so
I do, but not. It's really interesting. I'm always fascinated with how people visualize things. But in my brain, I always have like a blank room, and then things build up.
Oh, cool.
Into the scene. But people are the most difficult. I can't see a lot of faces. I can't see a lot of detail in people. So like a monster, I know that he's partially human, and I know that he is like a twisted, dark, creepy thing. So I just think of like a shadow man with like haunting eyes. That's all I can think of.
Just when it gets hints of like a zombie reaper.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I was kind of going along the zombie equivalent because, as I say, and I don't really see much. I have to know what I'm on about. The only books I can see in my head are manga because the pictures are there, or like something that I'm watching or something that I'm reading that I've watched. So like if I read Lord of the Rings, I see the guys from the movie because that is what I can visualize.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my head, it's like, and later on when they're like at the bottom of the stairs and the portal part, I'm like, right, so there's stairs behind them. Cool. And then in my head, it's like a staircase in a house. And I'm like, this is not big enough. This isn't right. Like my head just can't proportionalize shit. So it's great fun. Elena is the person that literally, even in death, is beautiful and then makes you go, what the fuck? Yep. Pretty much. So he complains she's disturbing him, like he's not an animated knocker in an abandoned tomb.
Yeah. Also, like, what does he do on his downtime? I'm really, really. That's the book I want. I want most downtime. Just him.
I love it. He's like, I'm sleeping
in a little like door knocker spa with just like cucumbers on his eyes, just like.
Who puts that on? Is that magic? Like, does that appear out of nowhere? I want to know. She may be a murderer, but she's a selective murderer.
Surely all murderers are selective. They've got to choose who they kill.
It's just how selective and how big your criteria is, or low your criteria is.
People
I
have
didn't see it coming with Archer, but I did feel he wasn't being completely honest. Yeah. Die! I really thought she was going to let him go. I was screaming at her to kill him. Yeah.
I think that the fact that she was going to let him go for Nehemia, he dug his own grave.
100%. The fact that
continuously dug his own grave. The fact
we haven't even talked enough about Archer because we got distracted by.
Yeah, the fact that he continuously just goaded her. And then he was like, I knew you were a good person.
He would talk her out of it because he had like connections to her past and shit. And I'm like, you've literally taken every connection that she had to people that you know and have twisted them and prodded them and hurt them enough. And maybe she was going to let you go, but then you mentioned Nehemia. And now you're gone.
It's the fact that he took an arrow knowing that he would get on her good side. It's the fact of like, this guy, don't get me wrong, that guy has trauma, and I totally appreciate that the shit he's gone through is probably really, really bad. My issue is you do not become the villain because you have your own trauma. You get help for your trauma and then you become a better person.
Yeah. And also the fact that they decided to kidnap Kale to get Selena out of the castle.
Like, what the fuck was that plan?
Like, how does this help anyone? Like, Selena, fucking like ran back so quickly that she outran a horse.
And obviously at that point we didn't know the Fae thing, but that's potentially something to do with our Fae heritage.
Yeah. And I was just like, are you fucking for real? Like, not only are you and Nehemia apparently in cohorts, but you're now sacrificing her like a lamb in attempts to get literally, I was like, you just need to die.
Archer was so out for himself, and the way that he genuinely thought Selena was going to be there for him and be like, yes, I want to do this as well. Like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
No.
I both love and hate Nehemia because I obviously love her character and story, but there were moments she desperately wanted someone else to do what she wanted. And her methods were skewed and almost manipulative. However, her heart was good and she was doing it for legitimate reasons. Yeah, I genuinely think she almost had rose-colored glasses on. Like, I am doing this for my whole world, so this is the best outcome because they need to be saved from the king, which I get. But
I don't even think it's that. Just sorry to interrupt you there, but like, she literally, like, she comes back and she says, I made my peace with this. I knew this was going to happen. I've made my peace with my destiny a long time ago. And it's like, great, that's fine. If you've had that forewarning and you've known this for a while and you understand and you appreciate and you have accepted this, that's all well and good. You cannot expect someone you've known for like a couple of months to just drop everything and have the same worldviews as you.
Yeah, I don't think she knew that she was going to die that far in advance, though.
You don't know, though. She didn't say. She says,
no, I don't. But there was a flashback. There was a conversation between Elena. It didn't have names, though. It just said she did this and she heard that. So, I took that, even though there was no names, to be yeah, so one of them has to break the page 205. Yeah, one of them has to break the queen said to the princess, only then can it begin. I know the princess said softly, but the prince isn't ready. It has to be her. Then do you understand what I'm asking of you? So at that point, I figured that was Elena to Nehemia telling her that she had to die. So I think, or at least I took it to mean that she understood her destiny about how rash and almost how forceful she had to be about how to break the hold of the king.
Yeah, maybe.
But she'd only recently learned that she had to die, and she knew that she was going to be the thing that would break Selena and break Archer. Not necessarily Archer, but I think Selena had to have that. I think.
No, I appreciate it. rereading the other one, because the other bit that I've got is when Nehemia comes back, it's you will not understand yet, but I knew what my fate was to be and I embraced it. I ran toward it. Because it was the only way for things to begin changing, for events to be set in motion. But no matter what I did, Olympia, I want you to know that in the darkness of the past 10 years, you were the one with the bright lights for me. Do not let that light go out. And it's one of
I
those
feel like this one was the start of that conversation, even though Nehemia's having the conversation with two different people.
Yeah.
But as that happened, it's a one-page chapter, and I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, what's gonna happen? And I didn't expect Nehemia's death to come so soon after, because it's literally 20 pages.
But it kind of makes you question, how much did Nehemia put into motion?
Yeah, I think she genuinely put into motion, but I don't think she necessarily knew that the final step of that would be for her to die. Like, no, I think she had like other contingencies, and she was trying to get them into place. Like, that's why she was almost so forceful to get Selena to back her. I get what you're saying. But I still hope I don't want it.
In the sense of, like, we know that Nehemia knew enough about it that she was having conversations with Elena.
Yeah.
We know how much Nehemia, like, within this book, we find out how much Nehemia was hiding from Selena,
and we also
hiding
find out how tired Elena is. So the fact that Elena was giving energy to talk to Nehemia shows how important it is that had to happen.
And I think that's the thing. Like, yes, we can understand that, like, Nehemia potentially only just accepted that fate of hers, but in the same vein, like, how much has she done in the background to kind of orchestrate
chessboard? I feel like literally she's been playing long game chess.
Yeah,
trying to set stuff up. And I think, as much as it looks like Archer used Nehemia, it wouldn't shock me if Nehemia used Archer more. Nehemia knew that her dying would set Archer up in such a way that he would fuck up and hit buttons with Selena that didn't necessarily need to be pushed. But also, and now I'm stretching here because I don't know anything else, obviously, other than this. But Miss Long Game Chess, who fucking knew something along the lines of her being Fae, she had to have known something. How much did she know that Kale would want to keep her safe and put her to X Kingdom to get her into the fucking hands of her family? What the fuck?
Maybe. But he didn't know that it was family. We don't know if Nehemia knows, but we know.
But I think Nehemia knew. I think Nehemia was trying to think. I think Nehemia figured if something was going to go wrong here, or if, like, Archer played out the way she thought it would, Kale or Dorian would try to get her away in such a way that it was okay for the king to not worry. I don't know. In my head, I have this thing where Nehemia knew something that we don't at this point, or even that you knew, because I don't know what you know that I don't, other than a lot.
I know many.
I have it in my head that because she's played this long of a game, she knew more. Like, if she's talking to Elena, they know more. Elena knows more than we do, obviously. But, like, I feel like Elena and Nehemia were actually the two playing the game of chess. Archer just thought he was the guy that was playing the chess.
Yeah, I can see that.
And yeah, the fact that I'm just hugging this book now. I'm just going to hug each of these books every live. Go away, Windows. Sorry. But yeah, the fact, how many pictures of full pages did you get towards the end of this book?
Yeah. I can't believe we're still on, like, Archer comments. We're not past.
Sucks.
Yeah, he does. By the way, we're not past page 119 in my notes yet. My next comment was, if I'm doing a reread of this series, more often than not, I'll skip this book because pain. I forget how atmospheric it is. I think this book is so atmospheric. I really, really enjoy how this book plays out. The next one is, Ress is cute. That's it. That's the note. Ress, I adore Ress. Ress is just this little bitty guard man who's a
Who
bit like
actually wants to protect her.
who's a bit like an excitable puppy, and he is the cutest, and I love him, and I think he's very underrated, and I just wanted to show him some love.
Also, if we're showing people love, can we give Fleetfoot some love too?
Yes, I literally have Fleetfoot is a good doggo later on.
She's so cute.
Um,
Lisa's comment. Hold on. She opened. No, wait, this one. She just wanted to have some people in her life who weren't going to hurt her. She opened her heart
and hurt herself from that.
And hurt herself from that. And then this was me talking about Nehemia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, it's comic relief, especially for books this heavy. You need that little breath of fresh air. My next one is page 119. Dorian letting Selena go, not just for her, but for him. Him understanding he deserves a love he couldn't get from her. This is why men written by women are better than real men.
I just love the when Dorian closed his eyes and took another long breath, and when he opened his eyes, he let her go.
Yeah.
He deserves to get love. He deserves to be loved. 100%. Like, 100%. Even if Cale and Selena don't end up together long term, the fact that Selena and Dorian wouldn't match, like, I don't think he could get his head around how trained she is.
Yeah, I think there was something that I saw on Instagram that I can't quote because spoilers.
Richie sent me something similar for yesterday for One Piece. He was like, "Would you hurry up and watch stuff? I need to send you shit." I was like, "No, I have books to read."
It was basically saying that Lady Lillian is more for Dorian. That like I'm trying to say things without spoiling, but like that persona was for Dorian.
Yeah.
And 100%. He fell in love with, and that was the issue because that's not who she was.
Especially since in this book, as soon as she could, she was in comfy trousers and black all over, and
like don't get us wrong, she loves a good moment and she loves a good, beautiful dress. But
the back on that dress though.
Yeah, I love the dresses on the back of these books, and at some point, if I ever decide I ever want to cosplay, I want to do front half in whatever her battle outfit is, and the back half is the dress, because I think that would look
the red. If you could make it look like the red cloak as well, that would be really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so there was that. What did you think about the reveal of Selena telling Nehemia she hadn't killed anyone? What were your thoughts on when that moment happened? Because Nehemia was very, very angry, and you could see she was getting really, really aggressively annoyed at Selena, and Selena was just like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, this is the truth."
It was definitely one of that moments where I was like, Nehemia, back down. Like, this is not the hill that you should be dying on. This is not your line to draw.
I think as well.
At the same time, I could understand why, because obviously in Nehemia's eyes, there are people that are standing up for the same cause that she's trying to fight. But as soon as she did it, I was like, "Oh, please let her not like twist this, and please let Nehemia like not tell anyone else. Like, keep it yourself."
I think as well, going back to the whole like they're playing a game of chess, and Nehemia is 100 steps ahead of everyone else. I think that because of where Nehemia knows a lot more than she lets on, I think you've got that against what Selena knows. So you've got like, so Selena is like playing. Selena's just getting to the board, and Nehemia's already mapped everything out. And I think that's the thing. Nehemia's frustrated because she knows what's expected. She knows what's going to happen. like to some extent. We're not entirely sure what. And I think looking back at it with
I think Nehemiah is almost playing like. That's okay. There you go.
No, go on. It's fine.
Oh.
Hi.
I was just gonna say, I feel like Nehemiah sometimes playing like 4D chess because she knows
Yeah.
that there's fucking more going on.
Yeah.
Like
And
Selena is almost playing with a blindfold. She has so much knowledge kept from her, whether it's meant to or not, whether it was her background and the way she grew up, whether it's the magical portals and her just not having that information be viable anymore. Like, obviously, everybody thinks it's gone. So what would have been there a decade ago is now not there.
Yeah.
It's very much like she's playing with a disadvantage instantly. Like, she's
I
10
also
steps
think
behind without even knowing about it.
I also think the fact that Nehemia knows about the word mug, she knows about the rebel, she knows she's got her fingers in so many pies that there's so much that she's not letting on. And we know this. We know this for a fact. We know there's so much that she's not letting on. And it's one of those things of, I think she, in that moment when we first see it, it's very much like, what the fuck's Nehemia doing? But then when you get to the end and you realize just how much Nehemia knows, it's like, oh, Nehemia's getting desperate.
Yeah. Nehemia needs something to happen. She needed personalities, and like she basically needed Selena to step up and realize what was going on. But because Nehemia didn't realize that the king had said that she would die, and she was trying to keep Kale safe, and she was trying to find a way to keep everybody safe without endangering Nehemia.
And I think
she realized how much Nehemia was willing to give.
Yeah,
like I think had a conversation, and she'd simply said, "The king has said if I don't do this, you're dead." She would have gone, "Well, fuck it. Like, let's work together and find a way to get this to happen, and we'll keep me safe and we'll keep you safe."
And I think this is
sort of have that conversation.
I think this is one of the things in this book, and maybe more to come, but maybe not. Communication, especially in this book, is fucking shocking. It is absolutely appalling. The fact that Kale hides so much because he thinks that it's going to be like keeping people safe. The fact Selena hides so much because she thinks it's going to keep people safe. The fact that Nehemia does. The fact that Archer does. The fact that Dorian does. There is like not one of them is communicating in a healthy way. And you just sit there and you go, guys, if you all put your heads together and actually talked, like so much of it, like, don't get me wrong, I understand that talking sometimes isn't the viable option. And I appreciate that. But it's just, like there was a few times where you sit there and you go, the fact of the matter is, if you just talk to each other, you might have been able to sort this shit out.
Yep. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. Did we have any more thoughts on that? Or is that...
So Lisa loved it. I did these the wrong way. Sorry, Lisa. I kind of want to make tea. Thankfully, I am downstairs. I'm going to go put the kettle on, and then I'll come back. And then when it's done, I'll make it. But give me 2 seconds. People, go make tea. Go make coffee. Returning in 2 seconds.
So while she's gone, no, I'm joking. I'm not going to say shit. This is probably going to be a long one. I'm not even halfway through my notes, guys. I'm very, very sorry. And this is very fresh in my mind because I didn't finish it until like 20 past 7. So this is very thingy. Hi.
Oh, I'm the wrong way. That didn't work.
Hi. I'm trying to be entertaining. I don't know if it's working.
Hey. Little dance break. I'm hardly ever up on camera, so that's interesting. Sorry, guys. Actually, while I'm up, this has been bugging me. There we go. The little things in life, guys. It's the little things.
Do you want to talk a bit more, or do you want to wait until your tea's ready?
Whatever's easiest.
It's not helpful.
Did Lisa go make some biscuit tea too?
I don't know. Lisa, did you make biscuit tea?
Who else have we got? We've got 3 people watching. Lisa? Emma? Becca?
Anyone?
Maybe? Question mark? I feel like cancelling both of our cameras and being like, we'll be back in 2.
I'm just gonna make the effects go. Maybe.
I like that one. I love that we did that at the same time.
If I do one, I get a little thumbs up bubble, and if I go down, I get a little thumbs down bubble.
I love that it looks like you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like little sideways. That's cute.
And if I do 2 thumbs down, we get rain.
Rain is one of my... I love that it changes the bottom camera.
Yeah. And then if we do that, we get the laser. It was really funny because basically we played D&D on Monday, and I did that, and then suddenly I got fireworks, and I was like, why have I got fireworks? And we were all trying it, and then I found out later on because Becca and I were doing private sprints last night, and I did that, and so I got balloons, and I was like, it scared the living daylights out of me because I didn't expect it.
I was like me earlier. I thought my computer had fucked up,
and I didn't know. I was like, what? Why is it going? So I text Becca saying like, I just got balloons and I don't know how. And then I Googled it, and I spent a good 10-15 minutes trying to find out how to do it. And then I found out there was like different options. And then I've been like, I was like, I'm going to be a menace on any form of live that I'm ever on ever again. So I do apologize to everyone, but I am not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry about what I did.
Hey, if this is
trying to have some fun.
If this is all that I have to be sorry for, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, same. Right, 2 seconds and then I'm good. You sure you don't need to get a drink as well? Are you good?
I'm good. I've still got some Pepsi Max.
Have you got snacks?
I do not, but I got takeaway because sadness.
I'm so tempted. Guys, this is really... Oh, I'm so far over now. This is really not related to this, but I'm so tempted to make Richie get a McDonald's because I kind of want a McFlurry.
Do it. I mean, you know, the response is only going to be sorry, not sorry about what she sang now. Lisa, I genuinely was very confused when you were saying you need to read ass. Like, what? And then I realized, can you read an ass? How do you? I don't want to know. Don't answer that question that I didn't ask. This is the issue when you've just got me. You just get my crazy ramblings. I do apologize. Do we want some more fireworks? I love the fact that this is still just a weird thing that I can do. I love balloons. I can't wait for people who don't understand what's going on to see it, because I am just going to be like, I'm waiting to see what people. So like, if I'm on like sprints with someone that doesn't know stuff, they're just going to be like, "What is going on? Why is there a fire? Is there fireworks?" And I'll be like, "Why not?"
Why
I have to explain
is
people
there no
somewhere.
crystal? Oh, because of the balloons on.
Yeah,
I got you.
Reese is also going to read Ass.
Ass?
Yeah, she can't wait to read Ass.
Oh, that. Would have thought would have been at least like asp.
Well,
Assassin's
she meant to put Assassin's Blade, but she just typed in Ass.
Reese ass.
Reese Ass.
We know. To the point where she messaged me earlier and I literally thought she'd said a different word because it was closer to that than the word she tried to say.
Wow.
I can't read her right either. Baby, you're a firework. Oh, baby, want you.
I'm saying I'm really excited for anyone who hasn't seen this to just like for me to be on sprint and just be like,
I like the fireworks one best because it makes your whole, or the rain because it makes your whole screen go. Like they'll be so confused to what happened to like your lighting, what happened to your hair.
Mostly I'm excited for things like this because like it goes like that. Or if I do the one, then it goes in front of my face and it's like everyone's gonna be like, what where did you get the balloons from? How have you let them, is there someone in your house? No. I don't know why I went quiet. I don't need to go quiet. I just realized I was being silent and I was like, I don't need to be. You're the
Sorry,
one
I
on
was
mute.
just checking he was okay because he sounded like he was coughing.
Yeah.
He's fine. And then since he was down here, I asked if he wanted a McDonald's.
That's fair. Shall we go back to Crown of Midnight stuff?
Because I will order McDonald's in a little bit so that it gets here closer to the end of this.
Nice. And I'm still on page 2 of my notes.
It's okay. I'll wait like half an hour and then I'll order it because it gives us like a 45, 50-minute go.
Yeah.
That's if we're lucky. But I've also got a big cup of tea now. I didn't have tea after I got in because I literally got in, turned the computer on, changed my top, logged into StreamYard as I changed my jammy bottoms, like sat down literally within 2 minutes. So I was like, I need tea.
She also panicked thinking that she'd done it for the wrong day as well, which was quite funny.
I did. I forgot that on StreamYard there's like literally a column that normally says made on and scheduled for. But because it was today, the scheduled date wasn't there. It just said 7:30. So I literally thought I'd scheduled it for the day I scheduled it at 7:30 and panicked. Like literally sent Smash a message going, I think I fucked up. Ah!
Whilst I was in the backstage just waiting.
Yeah, I literally just had a moment. It's fine. I literally hit enter and then saw her and I was like, no, I'm fine. Like we're here. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay. So
fine.
We're fine.
It's fine.
Next comment is Nehemia's moment with Dorian, page 135, where she basically says that Selena and Cale don't have the burdens the two of them have. Like, she wants to protect Selena. I really appreciated this. I was like, as much as I don't like how Nehemia schemes and I don't like everything that Nehemia does, like, you can tell that she actually adores Selena.
Yeah, like, and I like the fact that she was very much like, please don't get in the way of them if they're going to be happy.
Yeah.
like, I understand that obviously none of us want like that nitpicky meddling friends in the background, but let's face it, Nehemia is already that person and is way further ahead in the game than any of us are. But the fact that they both very much are prince and princess, and they're both aware of what they've got to do for their kingdoms, even if it comes to the fact that there's a war between the two kingdoms, or you know, the guys rise up and then her and Dorian had ended up on different sides. Obviously that didn't happen because of what happened later, but like Nehemia and Dorian both were aware of the fact that they had shit on their plates, that yes, king of the garden, or head of the garden, yes, assassin, and yes, they have shit that they've lived through that maybe they hadn't.
Yeah.
But they also didn't have any idea of the pressure of being a prince or a princess.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands.
It's fine. Also, at this point, we kind of get the feeling that Nehemia awoke something in Dorian.
I messaged you. Hold on. I messaged you about that. I had not an actual thought, because I promise I have thoughts, guys. I do have them sometimes.
I haven't seen them. I can't confirm that.
They're not very often or very much today, especially after like 3.5 hour contact with my apprenticeship. So at 9:15 in the morning, I told you that Dorian's cousin was a sleazy ass. And my next comment at 6 o'clock at night is ... I swear Nehemia just woke the dormant magic in Dorian's blood. The fact Gavin/Elena haven't had any magically wheedling kids isn't true. I swear they were like magic locked or something. So much is going on. Oh my god, the end of part 1 was an hour and a half after that.
Yep. And I was like trying, like, I was like, I've not read this book in so long, I don't know what's going on. And
to be fair, my next 2 messages were just, oh my god, the end of part 1. Holy shit. Holy crap. I had a lot of words. Apparently, words were...
My next one is a question, and it is, what do you think about Kale knowing about the threat on Nehemia's life when the king tips him off?
I think it was very much a power play on the king's behalf to see if Kale was still on his side or not.
Yeah, I think it's a really difficult situation to be in, because I totally understand.
I wouldn't have liked to have been Kale in that situation, because I don't think in that situation I would have told Selena either, because me telling Selena is much more likely to make Selena do something rash / make Nehemia do something which will then make her actions not...
I totally see where no, I totally understand. I understand where he's coming from, and I understand why he didn't say anything. I don't agree with it.
I would hate it, because I would stand there and I would think, I am protecting you so that your actions are not performed. It's not really what I'm meaning, but it's enough of a word for now.
I also think it's a really, really difficult situation, because I can totally understand why he did it. I can totally understand why he shouldn't have, but I understand he thought it was for the best.
But also, I wouldn't have assumed that we're going to interrogate and question would be murder.
I think that plays into how naive he is. I think the fact is Selena says later on, hang on, I have it written down. He was so stupidly honorable and loyal to the king that he didn't even think that she could have done something to prevent this.
Yeah. My issue is, if he had told Selena, and Selena and Nehemia had done something to get out of or wangle their way out of it, Selena would be proven as no longer loyal. Kale would have been proven as no longer loyal. And he would have killed Nehemia anyway, because it's the ruling prince. It's a princess upcoming and literally leading a rebellion against him. And if they didn't kill her, she would at the very least have ended up in jail.
I think as well, it's one of those things, if it was always going to be a lose-lose situation. I do think that there is a lot of issues in the fact of, like, Archer very much he caused a lot of issues with that. The king caused, I don't care what happened, the king's up to stuff. Like
Something.
we know.
Yeah. I genuinely would love to think. I would love to say that in my heart of hearts, if I was Kale at that point, I would have told Selena. But I genuinely don't know if I would have. I would have wanted to tell her with every fiber of my being so that we could protect Nehemia and give them that warning. But I don't know if I would have found a way to do it in such a way that all three of us wouldn't be either injured or set up to fail. I genuinely believe that the king did it to put a rift between Kale and Selena.
And it's such a weird situation because like it's like, oh, there's something out on her life, but we're going to question her about it.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so much that you kind of go, this doesn't make sense. Why is this happening like this?
But let's face it, a lot that the king doesn't seem to make sense.
I also want to bring something up from a bit later on. I did write it down. I think Kale is willfully ignorant in a lot of situations. And I say this because later on, when Fleetfoot is in the library and he's causing havoc, and the librarian is there, and he's like, it was a letter from my friend. The librarian then turns around. Bearing in mind, Nehemia's just died. Nehemia's just died from an assassin attack. And the librarian turns around and says, there is someone skulking around in a cloak at night amongst the stacks. And Kale doesn't say shit about that. Like, dude, do your job. Like, I
genuinely believe... See, I like Selena and Kale. I think they're quite cool together. But I genuinely... And nobody come at me. It might change. But I genuinely don't think long-term they're actually right for each other. I'm hoping something happens in the next 6 books. Because yes, they're better than Dorian and Selena. Because I genuinely believe that Lady Lillian was better for Dorian, and that's not who she is. And I genuinely believe that the rough and tumble in the awareness and ready to fight and like that ability to protect matches with Kale. But I don't believe that that's actually who is meant for her. But I don't believe she's who is meant for him either. At least at this point. Things might change. I preface this with all of that because unlike with Schwab-along, where it was like 1 or 2 books max, this is 8.
Yeah.
8.
I think, but I like, it's one of those things of like, I think rereading this, knowing all of the characters really, really well, when I read that, I'd completely missed that. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate that the librarian's a bit wittery and he's getting on Kale's nerves. But my thing is, if your job is to protect the castle and protect the royals, and a princess has just fucking died.
And also, in the first one, half of the fucking guys died and they didn't even fucking catch who killed them. Was that the guy that was in the tombs or is that somebody else?
Well, no, because we know that was Cain.
I know, but like, there seems to be too much death going on when there should be protection happening, and there's not.
And my thing is, like, it didn't matter when it was assassins and it was murderers and it was this and the other, because like their lives don't matter and all that shit. But it pissed me off when I read this today where Kale missed that, because my thing is, I'm not being funny. If someone had just died close to me and someone had pointed out, hey, there's someone skulking around, even if that dude is complaining about something really, really dumb, you take that shit seriously. And he doesn't, he completely disregards it. And I'm like, dude's not good at his job.
Yeah.
Dude's not good at his job. Dude is so clouded by his depression. And I appreciate that depression like makes you thingy. Step down. If you can't do your job, especially when you've got such a high, serious job, if you can't do that, step down or take a break and say, hey, can someone else take this for a while? I'm not in the right place mentally. I would need to go and clear my head for a bit. But he doesn't.
All I'm going to say, because I know that you haven't read, and I don't want to give spoilers for any other series because I don't know who's read what. But 2 of the series that pop into my head in comparison to this, and people that have read them, obviously don't give spoilers, like come message me specifically if you want to talk about them, is the David Bad trilogy. Because huge cast of characters, royalty, castle, guards, etc. And Poison Study, same thing. Huge cast of characters, this, that, and the next thing. And it's one of that things that pulls at my nerves a bit, because have read and loved both of them. And don't get me wrong, there's loads of other series over there that I could pull out, but that's just two that, as Smash knows, I love Daevabad. I have gifted multiple of them to her.
No, let's say it how it is. You bought me every single one.
It may be my second favorite series ever. Okay, and at least it's only 3, not 9. But anyway,
all right.
like,
all right.
No, I mean, like, at least I didn't give you 9.
No, I know, but I'm saying that because like this is my favorite series, and it is. Like,
yeah, but you didn't buy me these. I bought these on my own volition and haven't read them in the last decade. Like, this is on my back.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't had them for a decade. I've only had them for 5 years. But yeah, like the whole mad like guard system equivalent in them kind of makes me go, oh, Kale, you're letting something like drop, and I don't know if it's because Selena's distracting him, or the deaths are distracting him, or Dorian's distracting him, or he's trying to keep Selena safe from the king, or the king's doing something, or Nehemia did. I don't know, but he's stretched too thin, and he doesn't have enough concentration, and he's a bit iffy.
Because here's the thing: it might also be because he is so young. Like he's like very early 20s.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
Dude, I don't feel like I could do it. I'd be a shit job now, and I'm not in my 20s anymore.
Yeah, he thought she was just going to get... Oh, wait, hold on. I missed you, sorry. I understand why he didn't tell Selena. That was my thought. He thought she was just going to get questioned. That actually...
I appreciate it, but at the same time, like, he needs to do better. Like, I love Kale. I'm not a Kale hater. I'm not a Kale lover, but he needs to do better. There is shit he does that I don't think I could ever forgive him for, and I appreciate. I understand why this book went down the way it did.
Yeah, I think Selena made Kale feel younger than he's been made to feel with being captain, and that was his attraction to her. She reminded him of happiness, but long term, she needs someone she can constantly rely on to trust her, and I don't think Kale fully does. Yeah, and I don't think she fully trusts him either. Like, not now, because we know that's broken, which is where we've kind of leave off. But
I also think the fact that like Kale constantly is like reminded that she's an assassin. Like there were times where he kind of goes, like there were times that you think, oh, he understands who she is, and then like later on it's like in his thought, he's like, oh, she's like a wild beast, or like there is some. He never saw this side of her, and it's like, dude, like
you leave it alone.
Like we know she's the. They don't just call her an assassin for no reason. Like, come on. There's a reason she was infamous. Like, there was a reason.
I did. Sorry, on the back of Infamous Assassin, I don't know if you've got a note. Do you have a note about when she goes back into the bar?
I don't think I do. I've got.
I think was that not the first one at Archer when she went in to try and meet? No, because she met Archer outside the steps. She went to go find someone, and she walked in.
Grave.
Yeah,
she was looking for Grave. I have a comment about Grave, but I don't have a comment about the bar.
I loved that when she walked in and she just looked around and then like made a small comment. Everybody instantly knew who she was, and I was like, "Oh, so they know your whole like not persona, but like they know exactly who you are. They just don't know that you're an 18-year-old female."
Yeah, we get to see that.
I love that so many people still don't know who she is, even though they knew she'd gone to a salt mine.
We get to see a bit more of that in the prequels, which is the next ones we're going to be reading. Because obviously that is like
I'm excited.
It's interesting to see the difference.
So annoyed that my friend told me to read The Assassin's Blade first. Like, I was not hooked. Like, you saw me. I was hooked from like line 1 of book 1 because I messaged you being like, I am hooked with this opening. Yeah. But with not having any context, like now I'm 2 books in. I mean, you could give me 17 more books and I'd go, okay, yeah, line them up. Yeah. But like, I wasn't there at the start, and I'm so annoyed because I would have read these. I had them. Where did I take it? When would I have had it?
I think it's always interesting because I know a lot of people want to read the first bit to kind of get the background to her thing, but I think it's really, really interesting reading the first two, and then because this is how I read them in the first way. I read the first one, and then I read the second one, and then I bought Assassin's Blade and Air of Fire when Air of Fire came out, and I read it that way. And I think it's better to read them that way because there's bits in the prequel novellas that have been hinted at or have been alluded to in the first two books. And I just find it that this is the way that I prefer to read them. I don't know why.
I am here for it. Well done, Smash.
Introduction to Barry Yellowlegs.
She was fucking creepy as hell.
What do you think about the introduction to the witches?
She freaking freaked me out, and it took me a minute to actually hear her name on the audio. Because I remember hearing Baba, and then in my head I went, "Oh, Baba Yaga!" And then I was like, "No, wait, fuck, I've missed her name." So then I had to rewind it to hear her name, and I was like, "Did they say that?" So then I like opened up the book because I was coloring on my phone. So I like opened up my book, and I was like, "Oh no, that is what they said." Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, there'll be a reason for this. Let me just trust the process, keep going. And then I was like, "Oh, okay, so iron teeth. That's a thing." That's creepy. And then I was like, "Oh, so you're old." I don't know if I want to fuck with you. And then she kind of escaped. And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine." Like the really bad feeling I had in my chest that was really creepy. And I was like, something dreadful's going to happen here. Didn't happen. And I was like, okay. I was like, this feels like displaced. Like, you know, when like you build up and then something doesn't happen that you're like, you know, when you walk like down a dark alley and like you're adamant that something's going to happen and then that adrenaline has to go somewhere. Kind of had that bit, that emotion of, I do not trust you. You are going to be bad. Something is going to happen here. And then it didn't. But apparently I was just setting myself up for future, for futureness.
Future trauma.
Future trauma. She just was mean. The fact that she was gonna blackmail Dorian and Selena in one fell swoop, and then she went. Yeah, actually, this is exactly what I was going to say. She reminded me of this with Hansel being Selena, other way around, with Gretel being Selena and Hansel being Dorian, and she wanted to have her cake and eat it too. Literally.
There is a comment that I have very, very shortly that has to do with cake, and you've just said have our cake and eat it too. That's not what we're going to be talking about though. No, I think it's really, really interesting because it gives you an extra layer to these books. It's like, what are the witches? Why are they there? What, like with magic on, what's that to do? And
yeah, the fact that you then find out that she's killed pretty much a queen of the witches, but not only the queen of the witches, which would be bad enough in and of itself. Like that in and of that's bad, especially if she doesn't have her fae powers yet. I'm saying yet because I'm assuming something fucking is going to happen. There has to be nothing worse than realizing that her clan went together with, like, was it 2 of the other worst clans to compile? Like, the fact that she's pissed off 3 clans in one, and was it the king knows, or Dorian or Kale? Somebody knew because there was blood inside the trailer when he didn't show up. I think it was the king. If I remember right.
Yeah, the king had a meeting with the queen of the witches.
Yeah,
and she's still got pretty scars because she's got a necklace of fingernails.
Yeah, I mean her scars are like pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie. Like she's got salt whip mines down her back. She's got witch talons.
She's got many on her hands from all of the fighting and the breaking of the hands and shit. She's also, we know she's probably been tortured.
Yeah. Oh, easily, at least. When I say I want to hug her, I genuinely mean it.
She needs a hug.
But desperate. I don't think I could get close enough to her without her hurting me.
Yeah, that's also fair. The next one I've got is, how do we feel about knowing the reason behind her snapping in Endovia? Because we find out that it was on the anniversary of her parents' death.
The 10th
And
anniversary?
it was the
Right. It must have been
9th, because it's the 10th in
the
this
10th
book.
one. Yeah.
But
The fact that it was the 10th anniversary, the 9th anniversary of her parents' death is horrendous. The fact that she was getting like the garden, the actual mine, and then she went through so many people, and she was that close to the. Because obviously we find out in the first one how close she got, but in this one it explains why and how she got that close.
And I think it's really, really interesting because in the first one, she uses it as like a smugness. And then we find out the real pain behind it. And we're like, oh, fuck, this girl's traumatized.
Horrendously traumatized.
Horrendously.
Like, like cripplingly traumatized.
I loved that she gave herself that self-care of just like getting the fuck out of the city and being like, I can't be in this city. And Nehemia just understands, and she just leaves for the full day. And she like, I was crying. I like I have a lot of like my own emotions about shit like that, but I just cried a lot because of that. Yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean, I was actually shocked that I didn't cry, but I was tearing up in about 75,000 places. But I think I was on a backyard with Andy, and we were just literally like, she was sitting reading and I was sitting reading, and we weren't actually talking. I think we went for like 3 whole hours or something without stopping because we were both enjoying the books we're reading. But literally at one point, like we weren't muted or anything. We were just the only people in the house on both sides, so we're just sitting. And I had my headphones in, and at one point I must have said, "Oh fuck," or like I'd spoken out loud, and then I think Bobby had just arrived, and they heard me, and then I had to like, I was like, "No, no, you're not getting me yet." Like, and physically muted my like the screen so that they could talk, and I was just like, "The fuck's going on?" And it was at that point, and I was like, "No, I feel that like I don't have like." Quite that level of trauma, but I have been very, very close to having that trauma multiple times. And I was like, yeah, I need to breathe right now because this is really intense. And then, yeah, when the Hemia actually died, I was like on camera with Andy and I was like, I am what? No, like,
yeah, it's
I'm not okay.
Let's share my own trauma. It is the week, so like it is literally in the middle of my dad's anniversary and my mum's anniversary right now. I didn't actually want fireworks. That's hilarious.
Fireworks. I mean, we appreciate the celebrating of them, but that's not quite.
Yay, trauma.
It's more like you need
Look, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. But like, yeah, so it's I mean, Emma's saying the same thing, and it's really, really difficult. Obviously, like my trauma is a bit different and stuff like that, but like there is so much that you can kind of like feel, and it's one of those things.
So raw though.
Yeah, one of my comments later on is where is it? One thing I've always loved about Sarah J. Maas's writing is how well she writes grief and depression. Selena hating that her heart beats while Nehemia's doesn't, not being able to get out of bed. Even the short chapters show these emotions. You just feel her loss. Like there is so much that like Sarah J. Maas is like. Don't get me wrong. Some of Sarah J. Maas's writing is like trash, and I live for it. Like because not every book has to be perfect for me to love it, and if something's and yeah, it's one of those things of if I love a book, if I love a concept, if I love like a character, it doesn't like that. I don't have to have that logic behind it. And I think that Sarah J. Maas's books, there were a lot of things that I can just kind of like gloss over. But Sarah J. Maas's ability to write people's grief, write people's trauma, and do it in such a way that you can relate to, I will always appreciate.
I genuinely think that the feeling that she puts into it means that even if your trauma isn't bang on, it's so fucking relatable.
like the
yeah,
the chapter that she goes on about that, it's literally like she gets taken out of the dungeon, and she's not eating, she doesn't want to, she's upset that she doesn't have the drugged water, she wants to be sedated, she doesn't want to like feel that. And I remember those feelings,
yeah.
very, very well. And it's not great. And I think the fact that Sarah J. Maas can capture those feelings very, very beautifully is fantastic, and it is why Sarah J. Maas is one of my favorite authors. It is because I think we can like in this world we all can like appreciate, and we can all relate to the fact that we've lost someone in our lives. We've lost like we've even if we haven't lost someone in our lives, we've gone through some form of trauma that has made us struggle. And I think that Sarah J. Maas has a wonderful way, because like, let's be real, people joke on that it's fairy porn.
I mean, we
And
had
I
a
think,
comment literally
yeah,
earlier that I blocked.
yeah. And it's one of those things of, yeah, you get some of that in some of her other books. And don't get me wrong,
books in, and so far we've only like we had a sex scene this time. Don't get me wrong, we had sex, but in general, it's not graphic, it's not descriptive in any way, shape, or form in comparison to some of the smut that most of us have probably read.
yeah, wait until we get to the other series.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said 2 books in.
Yeah. And I think this is the thing. Like, I think, but even then, all of her books deal with trauma, and all of her books deal with grief, and all of her books deal with mental health struggles. And I think there are reasons that we are readers, and there are reasons that we gravitate to books like this. And I don't think it's just because we like fantasy stories. I think it's an escape from shit that we've had to deal with. And I think the fact that we can read these books and feel those traumas of these characters, but also they are so real to us that they remind us of our own traumas, in the way of we can grieve with these characters because we've grieved for our own friends, families, things like that. I think it's a testament to her writing of like, if you can make me feel this when I felt my own pain, and this feels as raw as my own pain, that in my mind, that makes you a good writer.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things of like, it's really good. And I think, I know, sorry Lisa. I don't mean to. I'm very, very passionate about books I love, and I think very, very much.
No, I 100% agree. I am actually very impressed I didn't cry, because there were multiple, not just Nehemia, but there were multiple parts in this book where I was like, oh shit, this is touching really close. Like, if I read it this week, I might have been slightly worse because my stepdad ended up in hospital this week. But he's fine. He's out. Like, it's fine. As far as he will ever be with his health conditions. But it's the same in my aspect, not obviously the same thing, because still here. But he is the one that ended up in the coma. Like, it was very, very close for him. And my actual dad, who is also still with us, also had a very, very big dip with his health, like 15 years ago. And the pain of them, I have pretty much been there with both of them, assuming that I would not have them the next day. So it's not quite literally there, but it's close enough there that I have far too much of a inkling on how it would feel. But I have also lost other family members, etc. But
and I think
being that close with,
I think this is the thing. Like, grief is universal, and I think that a lot of people can talk about grief, but I think there's only a few books that I sit there and I go, this really touched on it. There's a book. The book's not great, I'm not going to lie, but there is a quote from this book by Romilly Bernard, and it is a YA thriller, and it touches on losing a mother, and I cannot remember for the life of me the quote at the moment, but I sobbed at this paragraph because it was like, this is literally how I felt. This is literally how I felt. And I think that's the thing. Like, when you get something that touches you, I think when something,
you can hardly see it here because of the color. So I want to do it.
But yeah, I've only just realized the time, and I'm like, oh shit, we should probably get through this a bit quicker.
I mean,
So
that would take 2 hours bang on.
yeah.
I would
And
also love to point out that this is 400 pages. How
Yeah.
are we going to get through? Is it Kingdom of Ash that's the biggest?
Kingdom of Ash is like almost 1,000
So,
pages.
Kingdom of Ash's live show, 12 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yes.
And we'll see how long it takes us to get through it.
With alcoholic beverages.
Yes.
Because we might need them.
Also, for the dual book, for the two together.
Yeah.
We're doing two live shows? Or are we doing one live show and doing it just a really long one again? I have a feeling we're going to have to move these to weekends and just have them as like 4 o'clock starts with alcohol.
Yeah, maybe. The only issue is at the moment I am booked for like the foreseeable future. So that's going to be interesting. But we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it
out. My next comment was Kale bringing her chocolate cake when she was sad had me in tears, because you always need a supportive fucker who brings you treats when you're sad. And I said this to Becca, and I said, like, I was like, he brought her cake, like he gets some points for this. And she turned around and she was like, if I lived closer and you were sad, I would bring you cake. And I was like, yeah, but we don't live close enough. That's the issue. And I was like, but I knew you would do that. Like, I'm not stupid.
Yeah. To be fair, he normally supplies me with Iron Brew, which
that's your lifeblood.
It's my equivalent. I got told the other day if somebody cut me, I would bleed orange.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
And the what was it? My hair has a natural brassy color to it because my Iron Brew is dyeing my hair.
I love it.
So yeah, there you go. That's literally your two giggles too.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is about my Iron Brew blood or cake, but
I think it was the cake. I think that's what we were talking about. The
Selena just goes and has a day to herself on the anniversary. Just really resonates to me because on that day you just want to breathe in a way they haven't. Yeah. I love you all. I can't give you actual cuddles, so just know I love you.
Or actual cake.
Yeah. I mean, I can get Lisa and you cake in a few weeks.
The next comment I have is reading Kale and Selena falling in love is so bittersweet when you know what's coming. Which you can't relate to. But like, it was really sad because I was like, I know what's gonna happen. And they're just like really cute. My next comment is Nehemia calls Selena a coward. I know why this scene had to happen, but this scene always breaks me because it's like, oh.
I don't like it.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading Lisa's comment.
Let's go catch some seats and shatter. My thoughts the next book are Kayla's going to go home and get married off to another woman and Selena's going to be her. I agree on the first part. I think he's going to end up as being a father's pawn.
I mean, I think Selena's already her.
Yeah. Physically her? I mean, also that, but...
Yeah.
Bye, babe.
The next one that I had was the conversation between the Queen and the Princess, and I was saying thoughts. However, we've discussed that, so I'm just going to gloss over that because we kind of had a conversation about that. I've also put it's interesting to see Selena as the ruthless assassin. When she's rescuing Kale, we see a very different side of her, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that everyone's always like, oh my god, assassin, she's horrible. But really, she's being physically gruesome to try and like live up to an expectation of what she can do, not what she is actually doing to people. Like, and she knows what she could do, so she has to like act on that and show this big bravado to the king. And then actually she's like, no, you've come at someone that I want to protect. You will all die right now.
And she doesn't stop. Like it is literally like it's terrifying how just she's just like dead behind the eyes. It's great. I love seeing it. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's really, really interesting. I love a character who's just a bit psycho.
Unhinged.
Yeah. Lots happened at the end of part one. We have the reveal of Kale. I'm sorry, we had to get to it. We have the reveal that Kale didn't tell Selena everything, Archer working with Nehemia, and Nehemia's death. How do we feel about this?
I messaged you saying, in fact, it was voice notes, so I can't even listen to. In fact, what did I say? I don't know if this will be loud enough to hear, though. Actually, wait, it's only 2 seconds. Let me, in case it's me, like, screaming. Okay. I don't know if this will be loud enough. What the actual fuck, Smash?
Yeah.
So Nehemia was trying to convince Selena to help her with the rebellion. Selena had told Nehemia and Kale that she was saving the guys, not killing them. And then Kale got fucking abducted. Then we find out it was Archer. And then we find out it's Archer and Nehemia. And then we find out that Nehemia isn't getting questioned. Nehemia is being set up to die. And Selena has just run back and she is dead along with her bodyguards. And what the actual fuck?
I think that's
I'm so sad. But also Kale got beat up. And I genuinely believe, other than killing Kale, killing Nehemia was the worst person for the king to go after if he wanted to keep Selena in line. Like 1000%, she's going to be more likely to actually attack the king now for Elena, and for like everything that Elena and the rebels are attempting to do. Like she's not going to want to fuck. Oh. I'm so sad. Yeah.
I love that there's 3 I'm so sad in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I sent 6 voice notes to you, and it went, I'm so sad, thoughts. I'm so sad, thoughts.
I'm so sad.
And then my next one is, I fucking hope Selena fucking wages war.
And she technically...
I need tea.
I mean, she does technically, because she vows to free her people.
Yeah.
She says, I vow to free Eelwe. I vow to like thingy it. So she's made a vow. She's made a promise.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Honestly, I could not. Like, I remember getting to that point, and the night before when we've been doing sprints, Andy had been reading Fourth Wing, and it got to a point where we'd come back and she was like, nope, muted herself, muted the screen, like turned her camera off, and she just didn't come back until she finished the book. And I literally felt like we'd done that because we were away to talk, and I was like, I don't want it, but I also needed to breathe, because at that point I was like so teary and so emotional, and I was like, if I don't take 5 minutes right now, this isn't going to go well for me. And I think that's why I stopped crying, because I did take like 5-10 minutes between this and the next bit, even though I didn't want to. But I was like, I need to regroup and I need to breathe. It was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not want to stop.
That's very fair. My next one is, let's talk about Kale. When Selena is in the dungeon, in her POV, we get the sentence, he was so stupidly honorable and loyal to the king that he didn't even think that she could have done something to prevent this. And it was shown in his point of view that he did it to protect her. What are your thoughts about this? What are your feelings about this? Also, do we think he was wrong? And it's a difficult one, because I think there's an argument for both sides.
Yeah, we kind of touched on this earlier. I genuinely think I would love to say in his position that I would have told.
Yeah.
And that I would have that ability to tell, because I think it should happen. I think they both should have had the ability to be forewarned. But the issue is, even though he didn't tell Selena, and Selena in turn couldn't tell Nehemia, Nehemia knew. We don't know Nehemia knew, but Nehemia knew.
Yeah.
So really, even the only playing piece that it would have been different if Selena had known was Selena would have tried to force herself into that room when the interrogation was happening. But for that to happen, I don't think she could have managed to wangle her way in there in a way that didn't make it seem like she knew ahead of time.
Yeah. No, I get
Because
that.
they literally would have said, we need to talk to the princess about X royalty thing that you don't need to be here for, or what are you doing here? You need to go do X as my champion. Like, the king is the king. He would have managed to get Selena away from there, or had guards posted outside, or made it more awkward for her to help. And also have proven that she isn't as much a loyal subject as she is trying to prove to be.
The only thing I think that we have to take into account as well, though, is the fact that, yes, I totally agree with that. But also, from our knowledge at the moment, he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So there's yes, in some extents, yeah.
Who?
But
Kale
also,
or the king?
The king. So we know that
other than dropping tidbits of we're going to do an investigation. Yeah.
Yeah, apart from that, like
the murder part.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my thing is, it's difficult because we know that like the interrogation hadn't happened at that point.
Yeah.
So if she had been told, there is a possibility
that she could have stopped that, because it would have been before the interrogation, not during.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's very much meant to look like it was the king. Let's face it.
Yeah. I
just, when I was reading it, I remember trying to figure out a way where everybody could have come out better from that situation. Yeah. And I genuinely can't find a situation where at least somebody doesn't come off bad.
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, Kale and Selena got screwed over, but Nehemia died. Like, she came off worse, let's face it. But even still, like, I can't figure out a way that it comes off, even with Nehemia dying. I can't figure out a way where the two of them don't get fucked over by the king in passing, or where, they don't end up getting, I don't know, they're both playing such dangerous games with the king as it stands. I understand, Nehemia's need to try and better her, kingdom. And I understand Selena trying to make sure she can help as much as possible while still being safe, to keep Nehemia safe and to keep Kale safe. And I can understand Kale being like, I'm the head of this fucking guard. Like, surely I believe what the king believes, because that's my job. Like, I am protecting him. But he's had his eyes opened in so many ways that I think he hasn't had before, that he's realizing actually he had very blind loyalty. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of that thing of, you've got a monarchy and you grow up and you protect them regardless of what happens. And, we have MPs in place, and the army fights the wars that they say regardless of who's in power. Like, shit happens and stuff snowballs.
Yeah. No,
but
I get it.
At the same time, I just wish he told Selena.
I think this is the thing. Like, I think they're all in the wrong in some ways, but I also think that they all are doing it from the right place, which is why it's so difficult to try and like pinpoint a thing. And like, here's the thing: I know that there are people who love Kale. I know there are people who hate Kale, and I'm one of those awkward people who sits in the middle, because I see where he is trying to do good. I just don't think that I think he does a lot of bad decisions but he thinks are good decisions, and I think he just does what he thinks is right, which isn't always right, and it's difficult. The next one is just a quote, and I do apologize. It is, "It would have been better if she'd stayed in Endovia, if she died there." And that was Selena thinking it about herself, and it just hurts because.
No.
But at the same time, you understand where she's coming from, because if she hadn't left Andovia, she wouldn't have met these people. She wouldn't have gotten hurt again. She wouldn't be going through this pain.
But it hurts.
It does hurt. You are not wrong.
It's not loud because it hurts.
My next comment was about the depression, which we've already talked about. Sarah J. Maas with the grief and the depression. So we're not going to touch on that again because I might make someone cry.
Yeah.
My next comment, though, is the slave girl in Calcutta killing her overseer. I love seeing the ripples. That's one of the things I adore about these books, is this and the singer from earlier who got beheaded.
Oh my god. That singer.
Yeah.
To be honest, can I just say, is that a spoiler? Has anybody here not read Hunger Games? There's only 2 people watching. So, Emma, whoever else is here, tell me if you haven't watched Hunger Games. Smash, you've watched Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Just give people a few minutes before I say this, because the artist in, like, the way she played and what she chose to sing and how much effort she put into her career to get to where she was in her career, to be able to get her name in the King's View, reminded me so much of the fact that, you know, when they're doing the tour and they go to Ruse 1 and they do and then everybody else starts to do it, and it's like that thing where Caesar dresses them in such a way that she has a wedding dress, and then she turns and she becomes the Mockingbird. Like, Caesar knows he should. Not Caesar, that's the wrong one. What's his name? The guy with the.
It's going to annoy me if I don't find out.
Is Stanley Tucci's character.
It is, that's why I was confused. The Hunger Games. Hang on. Cynic. Cinna.
Like, he specifically puts her in things like, okay, they're from, like, the coal mines, and yes, it's linked to fire, but he puts them in specific outfits to breed fire. Like, their logs go on flame, her dress goes on flame, she has the pin. Like, he very much adds fuel to her campaign in such a way that you know there's going to be backlash. I remember reading that book and going, holy shit, what the fuck did I just read? I remember that moment being like, oh my god, yeah, he stoked that fire too much. Like, and I knew that it would happen.
Quite literally.
But oh my god, I didn't expect it in this book at that point. And then it happened, and I was like, oh yeah, well, you just picked that song to sing in front of the... Yeah.
I think it's really, really interesting that, because I don't think in a lot of other books I've read, I'm just going to reshuffle. I feel like you don't get to see...
I literally can't sit still. Like, I don't have the ability to sit still. I just keep moving.
I should have brought my knitting, but c'est la vie.
Next time. We'll be here for long enough. I'll make you do it.
I think that's one of the things that I absolutely adore about these books, is that you see the ripples. You see the King's perspective. You see Parrington's perspective. Well, you don't really see Parrington's perspective, but like you see perspectives that you don't typically see in books like this. Usually it is either an omnipotent narrator where it's like, I see everything, but you don't get to see these little things. Or you get a very one-way biased one, or you get set characters who, like, those are the only perspectives you see. And I love the fact that in this one you get to see the slave girl in Calcutta. You get to see,
it's like 1 or 2 pages though. Like, you see the snippet of Nehemiah's conversation with Elena, and it's a page. You see this slave girl in Calcutta tiny. You
Yeah.
see the
aftermath of the song.
but it's like a
because
snippet.
because let's be real, that song that could have just been, this is a really, really cute moment between Selena and Kale.
Yeah.
This is when they started to fall in love.
And Dorian is like, I will let go of you at this point because
Yeah.
I don't have anything to do with the two of you. At the back of my hall, I am up here. We have this distance.
Yeah. And then for
that moment
us to bring that back and show this woman, and not only show this woman, but show this woman and her listing off the people who it's affected, the people who have died because of what the king did, and her saying, this is my reason. And I adore the fact that Sarah J. Maas does that. Like, I adore it. But yeah, I think seeing the ripples of the rebellion is really interesting, and I really, really appreciate it. We then see what Selena does to Grave, which is terrifying, but also he deserved it. But holy shit, like,
but also, I kind of feel bad because Grave was also set up and was also a pawn of Archer.
Yeah, but Grave
deserved it. I'm not sad that he is gone. He is a ridiculous piece of scum that deserves to die. But he also didn't do the actual thing he died for.
I mean, he did technically kill Nehemia.
It wasn't of his own back, is what I mean. Like, Selena killed him assuming that he was the one that did it, didn't he? Or did I pick that up wrong?
She had figured out that Grave did it. She figured out that Grave had killed him.
Yeah.
Grave did kill him.
I think, did she not think it was Grave for the king rather than Grave for Archer? Or did I pick that up wrong?
She didn't know. She thought, she was like, this guy knew the layout of it. I don't know who's hired you. Which is why in the alley she's like, who hired you? And she thought it was the Councillor Millicent.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And so
my brain is like gone with like 5 different things.
Yeah, so she like, originally they put him in the dungeon because this guy was arguing with Nehemia about Ailbe. And then
she walked in all hellfire in the middle with the head of Grave.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was ordering for McDonald's because it's a 40-minute delivery time.
How dare you? How very dare
I know.
you.
It's okay. We've got until at least another half an hour at the
Well, I've
minimum.
only got like a page of notes left, so we can get through this.
Only got a page of notes left. I love
that. My next comment was the fact that Selena actually admits that she feels guilty for the men she killed.
Yes.
When she's talking to Archer and she goes, I gave him the list of the men. Are they all dead? And is it because of me? And he goes, yeah, they are. And she's like, I am sorry for my part in that. And she says she'll, like, in her perspective, it's like, I will keep that. She'll keep that with her forever, as well as Grave. And it's like, she's not just this monster.
She tries to be.
No,
but I don't think she actually is.
She's got that in her, but it's not the only thing in her. Next comment is just Kale's dad is a dick.
100%. I agree with Lisa's statement. He is an absolute asshole.
Yep.
The fact that he's trying to manipulate Kale and is like, haven't seen you in so long. Well, yeah, because you fucking cut me off. Like, asshole.
Bye.
Oh no, we're losing Emma too. Bye, Ams.
Thank you for coming.
With my lovely air fire, I could talk about that one for 5 hours. So
that's my comfort read. We're gonna need like a day. We're gonna need like a be right back.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do like all day discussion. I bet you that some of these books, with how fast we listen to these sped up, our conversation is going to take longer than it takes us to read the book.
Potentially. I've also
I mean, this is already going to be like 3 hours by the time we finish this one.
Yeah.
And I was only like 8.5 for this, and I was only at 2 times speed. So you and Emma were doing much faster than that.
Yeah, I mean, I had like more than half of the book, and I had like 3 hours left on the audiobook. But yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Selena packing up Nehemia's things and realizing Nehemia continued to lie. I love that Sarah J. Maas's characters are flawed. I love the fact that she doesn't hide that the characters are flawed. She doesn't hide that the people that like that they're inherently like they do what they need to do to get the shit done. But it doesn't mean that the characters are good. And I love the fact that like she doesn't shy away from that.
Yeah, I also love the fact that regardless of how she was feeling at the end, and like obviously she's been in jail by this point, she's had the like blissful sleep, she's finally coming out of it. I kind of love the fact that nobody's touched her stuff, but I kind of hate it because they falsely buried her in the wrong, like they haven't given her the right ceremony. So they obviously don't care. So you would have thought that somebody would have moved the stuff because they wouldn't have needed the... It seemed a bit disconnected to me that in that time, because they had to dig her up, didn't they, to get her back home. If I remember right, it said somewhere that they'd falsely buried her in the wrong part of the grave or whatever, so they were going to send her home to her family. But like, yeah, if they did that, why did they not move her stuff?
Well, they gave her a burial because she had to have a burial, but they didn't put a marker down, so they didn't do a tombstone. Because they knew there was something,
but also it's with them, not with her family. Like, no, just like put her home.
It's the fact that the only person that Nehemia was close to really in that castle that we know of was Selena, and Selena missed the funeral.
Yeah.
That's what's fucked.
It was when she was going through all of the stuff and she kept finding like the stuff on the word marks and this, that, and the next thing. And I was like, oh, you still had so much to learn from her. And the fact that she woke up, whatever type of magic was in Dorian, I don't know. I obviously don't know. And it's another thing for the next book because, well, not even the next one, but the one after. But the fact that she had that power and now it's gone, but also the fact that she knew more about the word marks, which I think partly led Selena into the library to the tombs for fuck knows what reason. Because she just didn't have somebody that could now tell her that knew. Like, she had to find the information herself, which there's...
Yeah. Trying to I get it.
Learn a language from a book without knowing how you actually say shit. Like, it's very easy to write word marks wrong, apparently.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot. It's a lot.
There's so much that went on in this.
Yeah,
so much went on in this book.
I will say, like, my notes are less detailed at this point because this was like an hour before the live. I was like, fuck, I can't keep on pausing it to write notes. So it was just like scribbled down. My next comment was about we've talked about it's my annoyance at Kale not taking the head librarian seriously.
Yeah. Like, we get that he's an old man. We get that he maybe likes his library stacks more than making it like jogging and doing stuff and being active, but that doesn't mean you ignore the man.
And we like, get that, like, you're frustrated that like the dog he's so affronted by the fact that the dog's like chewed on a letter. It's not that important, and I get that to some extent. We don't know what the dude's going through. We don't know if that letter is the last letter he's ever going to get from his mate. We don't know that. But also, dude's just said that there's a creepy guy like stalking the library. Take that shit seriously when you've just had an assassination.
Yeah,
take that shit seriously. It's a hill I'm going to die on. Dorian shooing away his servants because he'd never find his stuff is a fucking mood. The fact he's like, like, I usually like send them away. Why do you send them away? Because they've moved my stuff and then I wouldn't know where it is. Like, Dorian has ADHD. I'm saying it now.
I feel this. I feel this so much. Do not look anywhere off camera in this room.
Same.
It's so bad.
Next, what are your thoughts on the word gate and the word keys? We got like a bit of a hint about this. Do you know anything?
I am terrified about where they're going. Because so far, we found word keys that not only keep some form of ghoulie out, but said ghoulie has managed to learn to exit and relock himself in.
Yeah, with the word marks, yeah.
Like,
and now we find out that there's
that
three
is
keys.
terrifying.
And
in
now
and
we
of
know
itself. So, like,
yeah.
the library ghoul, terrifying. Like,
yeah.
in and of itself, the fact that he went from, I just like to go and have a bit of a wander to, oh fuck, there's someone here, I could eat you. Let me at you. Oh, look, they've opened everything and they can't close it. And then Selena is just fucked. Like, that was terrifying in and of itself. Never mind that when they've gone further down into the crypt, they then try and speak to Nehemia and then call whatever fucking monster that was.
Yeah.
And, like, what? Like, where the fuck did that come from in the first point? In the second point, how are the word marks that similar that you can fuck it up? And then they somehow, without meaning to, manage to get to a world where her past was genuinely a world that wasn't magic blocked. That's my assumption. But the fact that they went through and then the animals were getting closer and closer and closer, and you could hear them all replying, I was like, would you fucking get out of that world? Like, shit is about to happen. Like, would you just leave?
And the thing is, this is just with word marks. This isn't with the word keys. So now we know that there are three word
keys. Just
keys.
Word marks and portals. And also, Fleetfoot deserves all the love ever for getting thrown around by that thing. And then the fact that she managed to somehow like create this like cavernous line that ate. It felt very Lord of the Rings-esque with the "You shall not pass." With the barrel. I'm such a nerd. And then the fact that they somehow managed to close that portal, ?
Yeah.
But if it's there and they've erased them, and then the fact that she had to get the blood from Dorian, and then Kale was like, wait, what? He's got magic. You've got magic. Wait.
Technically, Kale doesn't know that Dorian's got magic. Yeah, so technically, Kale doesn't know Dorian's got magic yet.
No, because that conversation hasn't happened in the book. We just know it's going to be happening. Or some equivalent has to happen at some point because they've said they're going to have that conversation. And also, she used his blood to close it, which technically, if the man isn't as idiotic as we think he is, should prove said point. But the man is also slightly idiotic.
Yeah, and it also, like...
We also don't technically know that Dorian has magic, but also the fact that his blood managed to cancel out the word marks makes me think that there's definitely something.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that they turn around and say, you've got wild magic and you've got magic. You stopped me from killing Kale that day. Thank you for that. Like, they had a whole conversation that's later.
And to be fair, he moved stuff off of the library walls and, like, he has done other magic. We just don't know.
He definitely has magic.
We just don't know, like, what kind or, like, how much of it. I mean, like, we don't know more about it, but then neither did he, to be fair.
Yeah. No, he had no clue.
But the word keys, to answer that part of that question, because that went on a bit of a ramble, apologies. They're terrifying. Like, the fact that there's 3, and it took her all of her humming and hawing to figure it out, only for Mark to be sarcastic, to then realize that the king had it anyway. Like, if the king had it anyway, Mark, you could have just told us the answer, like, 20 pages.
But my thing is, is there also something locking Mort to not be able to say things?
Possibly, because then he could be persuaded to give more answers up to the king as well.
Exactly.
So it could definitely be a magic thing of you have to be asked the right question to be able to give the answer, which is fair.
Or even you can't
the fact
you can't give them any answers until they've already figured it out.
Yeah. The fact that the clock tower is what the black obsidian is of their rings, I think there's something to do with the rings that they wear. Maybe something like if you wear it on you, it gives you some form of extra power. The fact that they live in the castle with the black stone clock tower that the father built, by the way, like that's not so fucking suspicious. Sorry. Like I think that must give power to the city or like to his power base or something. I don't know. I don't trust anybody that wears those black rings though, which is definitely why I don't trust the other two that have gone off with
Carlton.
I keep wanting to call him Harrington and it's not Harrington.
Harrington.
Pepperton? Lord Pepperton. Pepperton.
Harrington.
Pepperton. Oh. I just can't get his name. I obviously don't like him. But yeah, like there's something I don't know. I very much want to say that it's going to bring lots of magic and relief and we're going to get some form of influx of help. And I feel like as easily as that can be said, it could also bring armies of the bad too, considering the portal. But the fact that Nehemia was using them as protection in the first book also shows that they can be used for good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And I'm wondering if there's a link to like an old Fae equivalent or if the other witches that aren't alliance with the Iron Teeth, like there must be a good side if they're the evil bad side. Like if it's something that was linked from their magic or
so they actually
I don't know where this magic came from.
Yeah. They do comment on the good witches, because the Baba Yellowlegs says I have killed many Crocken witches, and the Crocken witches are the good witches.
Yeah. But I just don't know if like word marks or something they started, or if it's a Fae thing, or if it's something else entirely.
I will say we do find out more about the witches as the series goes on. That's not a spoiler, but I'm not gonna tell you too much about it. But we do get more witches, so things answer.
Yes, I have lots of questions right now. I have more questions than not, and I'm actually really annoyed that I have to go back in time before I can go forward in time. Because I don't get answers going back the way. I know I get answers. Like I will get different answers than the answers I want right now. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense as a statement.
No, it does. But you do also get some fun different characters and some different perspectives. So yay.
Yes. No, I am excited. I am very, very excited for it. I don't know when I'm reading it. It's technically not on my TBR for this month. Because Crown of Midnight was on my TBR for this one.
The thing is, because it's short stories.
If I can fit it on around the other...
Yeah, because it's short stories.
12 books that are still up there.
Just read a short story after every book. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I have so much to read this month. I have not had reading mojo, but I did actually finish this, so it's fine.
Nice.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
My next comment was they get attacked by the creature, and after Selena is still a sassy bitch.
Oh, 100%. Regardless of what we can say about her, I really hope she never loses her sass.
Yeah. My next comment is literally, I feel so much sadness for Selena, and I totally get why she wants to see Nehemia again. But also, what the fuck did she think she was doing? Like, stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid girl.
Like, what
but
what
also,
I sent you.
totally get it. Totally understand. Would 100% if I had the power, would 100% do that.
Yeah, I would probably attempt to as well.
Yeah. My next comment was about Nehemia knowing her fate, but we've already talked about that, so we'll just ignore that one. You were going to say something, sorry.
So on page 294, this is going back the way. I've just remembered I sent you something. It was round about, I believe this is where I've sent you a picture and it's got 294 at the bottom. It was just after he ignored the librarian, actually. That was the page before. It was when he was looking for the Book of Nobility in the library.
Yes.
She'd been found in their bed after they'd been killed, and then she must have run until she found a place where a Terrason nobleman's daughter could hide the assassin's keep. She'd learned the only skills that could keep her safe to escape death. She'd become death. And I literally messaged you that picture with, aha, I was right. Because I was sure she was noble, but I was 90% sure that she was going to be royalty of some equivalent. And that kind of hinted at it. And then I ignored you for 2 hours, apparently. And then I said, I'm not okay. I have 50 pages left. So I apparently jumped. And then 379 is where so it's just after the bit where you're at with the portal. So again, we're getting really close to the end at this point. And it was about the creature sensing it was about to lose its prey. It made a final lunge for Kale. It was blasted away by a wall of blue flame. The fire vanished to reveal the creature slamming into the ground, flipping again and again. It was on its feet before it finished rolling, whirling towards Selena in the same move. She was between them now, sword raised. She roared, revealing elongated canines, and the sound was unlike anything he'd ever heard. There was nothing human in it, because she wasn't human, Kale realized, gaping up at her from where he was still crouched over Fleetfoot. No, she wasn't human at all. Selena was Fae. And I literally said, my whole thing was, fuck. Lots of, again, mashing of keyboards. I was right. And then, literally, 20 minutes later, there's the description of basically him finding the Chronicle newspaper.
Yep.
And it was this morning, King and his nephew and heir and his wife were found assassinated, blah, 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 basically saying that there's no word of their daughter, Aelin. And my comment is, please say I'm right about her being a princess. And then the last page I sent you with, lots of keyboard smashing. I was right, fuck me. Like, my whole vocabulary died in the last 50 pages of this book.
Yeah.
I am very proud of being right about multiple things, though, considering I didn't know anything about them going in. But literally, I had no chill.
When I first read this, I had no idea. My brain was just like, oh shit, because I just like sped through it. But like rereading it, I'm like, it's so nice to see like the little hints, like the fact that Baba Yellowlegs continuously turns around and says, "Tell me your name," and she's like, "Oh, it's Lillian Gordana," and she's like, "No, tell me your real name," and she does not say Selena, because if she said Selena, the witch would turn around and go, "That's not your real name" as well.
Yeah.
And everyone, what the fuck? Like it's so many little interesting things like that I just love. Yeah.
She's a princess and she's Fae and she's lost princess. Like, not even just a princess that's hiding or like a princess that's trained to like try and infiltrate another court. Like, literally, she is the lost heir of.
Yeah. And it's the fact that like they turn the rebels turn around. We know where the princess is. We know where Aelin is. And she was like, and throughout it, she's like, that's not real. She knows that's not real. She knows that they don't have the princess. And you don't think about it until you go, oh fuck, of course she knows, because she's not involved.
I hadn't picked that up actually.
Yeah, so Arch is like, they are working with Aelin Galathinius, and she's literally like, I know that they're not. I know that Aelin isn't there. It must be a decoy or something. It must be something like that. she's literally turned around because she's not working with them. She knows that it's not her.
Yeah. Do you think she
we've got a
knows that?
comment.
Oh. Even in her first dream with Cain, he whispered her name, her true name.
Page 18. Yeah, he whispered her name, her true name, and she screamed as she. Yeah, so even I didn't pick up on that either.
Yeah.
Like the way this bitch writes that, like all of this shit into it.
But also, can we just say that, like 4 lines under that, Fleetfoot sleeping under the many layers of blankets, put her head on Selena's stomach.
This goes straight into my next comment, which is Fleetfoot is a good doggo.
Fleetfoot is a very good doggo. He got very, very injured.
Yeah.
I love that they made the vet look at the dog before any of them would take healing, and then had to basically force Damien to go next, and then they had to force Kale before.
Did you just call him Damien?
Did I?
I think you called him Damien.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, the foreshadowing is chef's kiss. It's perfection.
Oops.
My next comment is literally fuck Archer and not in the good way.
Yeah. I feel that I do not like him at all, in case we haven't figured from my massive rant about him earlier.
Yeah. I have 2 comments left, and one is the amount of communication that doesn't happen in this book is maddening. Like, so much of this book would not have happened had everyone just spoken and talked.
Yep, the amount of times that happens in books is frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, it's even worse, I think, when you have seen it from like multiple points of view. Like,
yeah.
It's maddening when it's in a book and it's all from one point of view, and you know that they just need to have a conversation. But I find it even more frustrating. Sometimes I enjoy it. Sometimes it's fucking hilarious the way that communication like works out. Like, you deserve each other. The miscommunication in that book, grand, can get on with that. But like the fact that in this you see it from multiple points of view, and you're like, if you would just speak to this person, if you would just speak to this person, if they knew this information, if you told this person this, you'd all have the same information. It's almost like a parallel between bullying.
Yeah.
Like, the bullies always want you to feel like you're isolated and that you don't have any power and that you have all this information and you know it's wrong, but because you are the little guy, you can't stand up because nothing will change anyway. And it's very much like that's what the king's doing. He's playing okay, fair enough, Nehemia was playing chess, but the king obviously has, he has his ways. It's why he threatened Nehemia to Selena, because he needed to keep an assassin under control. Like, you obviously have to have some form of backup. So he very much was like, right, if I pinpoint you in this way, and if I put you into this little box here, and if I put you into this little box over here, and you can't talk to them, and if I use you, I can poison you two, so you two won't talk to each other anymore. And by making sure that they're all in separate chessboards, none of them have all of the information. They don't see that he's playing all 4 chessboards together.
I agree.
That's not even being a king, to be fair, but like, just in general, like that.
This is the thing I was about to say. I don't think it's just the king. I don't think it's the king who's doing this. I think it's themselves.
Yeah.
I think we know that Selena's doing shit that she's not telling people. Like, she hasn't told anyone until she feels like she can, that she's not killing anyone. And then she gets 2 very, very different reactions. You get Nehemia, who reacts as if to say, like, oh, she's finally ready. You've also got Kale, who reacts by going, he's going to kill you. Why are you doing this? Then you've got Kale, who's doing it for the greater good, but we don't know that it's the greater good. We've got we've got Nehemia who thinks she's doing everything for the greater good, but again, we don't know it's going to be for the greater good. And I think that's the issue. Like they all think they're doing it for a reason, and we don't entirely know their reasoning, which is why it's frustrating, because it's like, well, why we
I just want to put them all in a box and shake it and make them spill their secrets because they're dizzy.
I don't think that's
I don't think that would work. But like, I just want to like shake them.
No, I get it. And my
also,
final,
it's too late because Nehemia's now dead and she can't spill any of the fucking secrets that she was keeping. Archer is out of the game. He can't spill any of the secrets that he knew he was keeping. She's away on a boat to another fucking country.
Yep.
Kale is away back home to another fucking state, I'm assuming, equivalent of a country, state, estate, some further part away than right in the castle anyway. So he's now out of reach of Damian. Dorian. I'm going to have that in my head now. I have to really try not to do it. How can I remember that, but I can't remember Pepperton? No.
Parrington.
Oh my god. How can I not remember Lord Asshole's name?
Parrington.
Literally cannot remember that name to life to life me for my life. Like he's now off with asshole cousin.
Yeah.
Like so many people are at so many different parts of the globe. I don't know like how big the map is going to get. But like there's so many moving parts and so many different places.
Yeah.
In the salt mines is on the map, but I can't remember. No, because she's going to Wendelin, right? So she's going like off this bit.
She's going to Wendelin.
But I can't remember because they're in Eoway at the minute, right?
So if you look, Ardlin is so you've got Ardlin, see, like that's where they are. You've got
they're in Rifthold.
They're in Rifthold. If you go along through those trees and like through it, you've got Aniel there. That's where Kale's from. Can you see it? Near the White Fang Mountains.
He's not from that far away.
No, he's not from. Well, because he's from Ardlin. He's not from a different country.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the Endervere's right at the top of there, and then Calaculla's south. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how much of this lands we get to explore over the books. Like I'm assuming because it's listed, there'll be something, but also I've just noticed that the Witch Kingdom's on here. Totally did not notice that last time.
And then you've got like the Red Desert, which we know that Selena's been to because she mentions it. And then it's just an arrow to Wendelin. We don't actually have a part of map for the Wendelin. But yeah, so my final comment was we find out that Selena is Aelin, and we've kind of touched on this a bit, but like she's Aelin.
You pretty much got my message.
It's been interesting because obviously, so I've known, so I'm sat there like Selena is not Selena. What do I do with that? Like, how do I not say anything? But yeah.
So I don't know if you can in the other books, or does it depend on who she knows? Or can you not say?
Sorry, can you repeat that? You glitched out a bit.
Oh, sorry, did I glitch? I'm saying, does she get called Aelin, Selena, or Lady Lillian in the other books, or does she just amass names and wear them like cloaks?
Yeah, I mean, Alentia. Lillian, Selena, Lena, Aelin. There's probably more.
We're at 5 already, and we're 2 books in.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if they're all different colors.
But yeah, I think
I do love though. I didn't notice, but the acknowledgements is more than anyone. This novel belongs to Susan Dennard.
yeah, they were busy mates at the time. Why
Didn't
did
know
I
that.
say busy mates? I've never sounded more northern in my life.
But also Alex Bracken's in this, and I've only read one of her books. I haven't read anything of Susan Dennard's.
I gave all
That's
of mine
funny.
to. You also get Amy Kaufman in the second
Yeah,
page.
Kat Shang, did she not just have a new book out?
I don't know. I don't remember that name. I'm not gonna lie.
It's quite funny considering this is 10 years old, and I literally the only book I've read from any of these is Lore by Alex Bracken.
Yeah,
And I read that like 3 years ago.
there's so many books in this world.
There's so
yeah. Is there anything else? Is there anything else you want to talk about this book?
I am excited to see how Faye are in this. I don't know if that will obviously come in the next ones because I assume.
Well, we know
will be after she loses, but then no, it can't be because if she was 9 years that her parents had passed away and she's 18, she would have been 9. So I'm assuming
10 years. Because it was the 10th anniversary of her in this book. And it was 9 years.
So yeah, I don't know if in Assassin's Blade, if we're going to see Faye, Aelin, baby, or if we're going to go straight to Assassin Selena. Does that make sense?
I mean, the hint is in the name, sweetheart.
Well, I know, but I don't know if it's going to give you like a previous history to her ending up in the Assassins, or if it's going to start there. Like, I'm assuming 90% of the book will be there. But all I know is previous.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering about that, but that's more just in passing. I will find out as soon as I start reading the book where we start.
I will say, obviously, we know that Wendelin has Faye because that was the reasons
because
that
literally her family is there. Oh my god, actually, let's touch on that first. Hold on. There was a bit where he had talked. Kale grabbed for the first genealogy book. It's actually the bit right under what I fucking read before, and I sent you in a picture. Of course, it is. The one with the bloodlines of the royal houses of Ardalan and Terrasen. Was Selena trying to tell him she knew the truth about what had happened that night, that she might know where the lost princess Aelin was hiding, that she had been there when this all happened? He flipped through the pages, scanning the genealogies he had already read. Then he remembered something about the name Evelyn Ashriver. Evelyn had come from Wendelin, had been a princess of the king's court. Handshaking, he yanked out a book containing Wendelin's royal family tree. On that page, Aelin Ashriver, Galathinius' name was written at the bottom or above it, and above it, her mother Evelyn. But the family tree traced only the female line. The female, not the male, because 2 spots above Evelyn's name were written Mab. Evelyn's great-grandmother. She was one of the 3 Fae sister queens, Mav, Mora, and Mab. And then I just love the bit where it was like, at the very end, it was like he had just jumped into conclusions. Maybe she merely wanted him to know that she still cared about Terrasen, and then it was literally like he had sent her home. I just love the bit where it was like, Selena Sardathian wasn't in league with Aelin. Selena Sardathian was Aelin, heir to the throne and rightful queen of Terrasen. Selena was Aelin, the greatest living threat to Ardalan, the one person who could raise an army capable of standing against the king. Now she was the one person who knew the secret source of the king's power and who sought a way to destroy it. And he had just sent her into the arms of her strongest potential ally.
Yeah.
The homeland of her mother, the kingdom of her cousin, and the domain of her aunt, Queen Maeve of the Fae. Selena was the lost queen of Terrasen. I just was like, you can't leave me there, especially when I know I have to fucking read the Assassin's Blade next.
Yeah.
And it's not even like I said to Andy, actually, because I finished this while I was backstage. I think it was her. It might have been Vicky. And I literally was like, if I wasn't doing a read along, I would have instantly have thrown my TBR out the window, have picked up the next book, and probably have binged the whole series. So I kind of hate us.
But also we get to kind of like, we get to appreciate it more.
Oh, 100%. Because I wouldn't have noticed half the shit in this without actually thinking about it. I'm really bad for like not reflecting on books. Like I literally will just jump in from one to the next.
This is why I'm really enjoying doing this, because I have so many notes and I never would have gotten those notes. Yeah. 100%.
I agree with this. I literally, the fact I sent so many pictures to Smash of the last few pages because I was having a great time. Like the fact that it had all of the like the different cuttings and quotes. One of the best final pages ever written. I agree with this. Like I enjoyed that full page, and the fact it was from Kale's POV as well, because we haven't really had. Oh, sorry, food. Worst timing ever.
To be fair, we've been here for 3 hours. Also, thank you, Rachel, for staying. We appreciate Alaka, and also you've been participating. Did not expect to be talking about this book for so long, though. For this to be one of my least favorite books in the series, like the fact that we've been talking for like 3 hours, I really appreciate.
This is even worse because I now need to run for Dr. Richie. I'm so sorry. This is shit timing. I thought it would be later. Oh, but 2 seconds.
To be fair, we've been here for 3 hours.
This is true. I am hungry. You're just going to have to deal with me.
Go quickly, do it so we can go, because I'm tired as well.
I think they forgot my chips.
Oh no.
Hold on. I need to double check this before. They did. Ah. I hate when you forget stuff. You have to take a picture. So 2 seconds before I give them it.
No, I appreciate you sticking around. Like, and also do errands while we're doing this. Like, you can still listen to us talk. But I mean, that's what I do most of the time. If I'm busy, I'll just like have something on my phone whilst I'm pottering. So totally appreciate that. Again, thank you for staying. It's still really, really funny because there's so much I could talk about that isn't to do with this book, and obviously I can't because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. But there is so many things that I could talk about these books, and I absolutely adore it. And I'm like, I can't say too much because I might ruin the book for someone. And that's not fair. We don't want to do that.
You literally just said what? Asked me to repeat what I said and then ignored it when you replied. Super thank you. I would have expected that sucks, but thank you for mine. And then comment. No, I have one of them as well, but we took part of my meal. I apologize.
Yes, how dare you? I said, yes, how dare you?
I know. I appreciate you being here, Rachel.
Yeah, I was thanking her for lurking and then also like participating and stuff like that. And then like,
I don't know how Smash manages to do this. Like, I haven't done a live show other than the Vicious one where I had read the book before, but also for Vicious, it was the first one in the series, so it wasn't like I was giving away anything else. Don't know
Yeah,
how you do it.
I'm saying that there's a lot of stuff I could talk about, but I'm not going to. But like I said, I do have a couple of pages in my notebook for like things that I want to talk about in next books. To be like, we talked about this on this, or like this happened in this book, and then it's brought back up in this.
Was there anything from the last book that we had that you mentioned that you'd written down?
Not yet.
Okay.
There's stuff for other books that I can't talk about.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think that we should wrap this up because I'm tired and I need to go and like get ready for bed. I also need to pick up.
It's almost 11.
Yeah, like I'm usually in bed by now. And I need to like pick a book for tomorrow because I've finished 2 books in the past 2 days, and now I don't know what to read. So I need to figure out what I want to read. So I can take
pick one for you?
No. Sorry. It's nothing against you. It's just I have a couple of set things I'm doing. But
That's
yeah.
fair. Well, thank you. On that note, thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you for Emma, Lisa, and Becca for popping in.
Yes.
As they watch the back at the end. Thank you, guys. And we will see you on Smash's channel next time.
We haven't got a date yet.
Assassin's Blade at some point in November.
And that one might be small, might be a bit shorter because we can talk about the stories individually instead of going through like different things.
Yeah.
So it might be a bit shorter. I'm not promising anything.
Not promising. Snap.
Anyway.
But on that note, we will see you next time. And thanks for joining us.
Bye.